My name is Keith Schultz, and my company is Witness Security here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We heard about Clay Clark on the radio. My son heard it on the radio and had been listening to it for a couple weeks and said I ought to listen to it. Gave him a call, and within a day or so, Clay gave me a call and we came in for an interview. Clay has helped us grow our business in the aspects of individuals, how to hire people, how to manage people, how to necessarily organize our business, how to structure, the functioning of our business. Though we've been in business for close to 9 years at that time, Clay has revamped everything we do, to a much more better operational business than what it ever was before. For the past 18 months that we've been working with Clay, our growth was averaging pretty close to 10,000 a month on a regular basis. Shortly thereafter, we doubled that to close to 20,000, and now we're close to 40,000 on a regular basis every month. Working with Clay is a little bit different than what you would find in most. Clay pushes you to the point you get out of your comfort zone. And as long as you continue to do what he asks you to do, you will continue to grow. But if you don't, then you won't. Clay has restructured everything we did when it comes to selling the security systems. Being a local company, we do things quite a bit different. And by doing so and restructuring everything he did in the 9 years that I was in business, trying to do it on my own, he came up with a package deal and within less than 10 minutes and revamped everything we do. Clay has helped us increase our sales in every aspect when it comes to the calls that come into our business, helping us to hire people to be able to do that and follow a good script, setting up the appointments and how we do them when we go into the appointment, the sales pitch and how we do it, and then from then on forth, just the SEO and everything he's done has increased our sales exponentially. He's helped us in our search engine optimization by helping us with the actual Google ratings when it comes to being placed on the map in multiple locations so that we dominate the industry, on the map as well as organically, so that when people are searching in a variety of different words, we always pop up on multiple locations on the first page. That of which he did, it's a long process, but it works very well, and Google, how their algorithms work, it doesn't change in what he does. So we're always on top. The accountability aspect that Clay has provided by, once he asks you to do something and you follow through with it, excuse me. You're good. The accountability aspect of working with Clay makes it to the point where he'll ask you to do something, and though it may seem a little bit out of the ordinary what you ought to do, he'll keep pushing you until you do it. And it becomes easier once you actually follow through with the whatever he asks you to do. That becomes easier, and you'll finally see the success that he is asking you to have accomplished by. It's just good in how he works. If you're looking for coming to Clay Clark for asking him to help you grow your business, I can guarantee it'll be a success if you follow through with what he says. You have to follow through with what he says in order to make it work. And so you have to come to the table making sure that you're going to do what he says. Be teachable, and you will be successful.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show, starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, Now we're on the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have the incredible opportunity to interview this celebrity chef whose soup I bought for my wife last week, the tomato basil, Mr. Wolfgang Puck. How are you, sir?
Excellent, thank you.
Wolfgang, I'm not sure how much money you make per can of soup, but I bought 2 cans of soup last week. It had nothing to do with interviewing you. I just buy 2 cans of your soup every week for my incredible
thank
wife.
You.
So
now I can keep my kids in school for the whole year.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, you have had so much success, but I'd like to start off at the bottom and the very beginning of your career, and I want to talk about your mother. Your mother was also a chef, and I'd love for you to share about her love of cooking and how that influenced you and now your love of cooking.
You know, my mother was an incredible person first, a great mother and everything. The only mistake she did in her life is marry my stepfather. You know, I don't even want to get into that. The stepfather was like a terrorist for us, for the family. Drunk and this and that. But my mother was like a saint. Now, every summer when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, I spent time with her in the kitchen in a resort hotel on a lake in Carinthia, where she used to work. And that's how I got interested already first in pastries. You know, if you're 10, 12 years old, anything sweet, if it's ice cream, a chocolate cake, whatever it is, you get a little wedge of it and you are happy.
Right.
So every time I did that, and then I used to help her bake cakes at home and things like that too. So I got interested fairly early on, and became friendly with some of the male chefs in the hotel where my mother worked, and little by little I became 14 years old, and then I had to decide what to do, to go to school, a tech school or whatever it would be. I wanted to be an architect, but they only had one school in Vienna. So then I talked to my mom and said, maybe I'm going to become a cook or a pastry cook. And then she had her boss found me a job in Villach at the Post Hotel. And that's where I started at 14. I left my home gladly because of my stepfather. And I started to cook professionally at 14.
So if you're out there and you're feeling sorry for yourself that you had to start working at 18 or 19 or 20. I mean, I worked at Target and Applebee's and DirecTV all at the same time. I was working 60 hours a week on a slow week, 90 hours a week on an average week. If you feel overworked because you have to work as a young guy, I have a motivational quote for you from the incredible American philosopher, Adam Sandler.
Shut up!
I'd love for you to share with the listeners out there. We have so many Americans that listen to the show, and they're not familiar with your culture. Why at the age of 14 did you have to choose a profession or a technical school? Can you walk us through your culture you grew up in and why you had to make a decision so young?
I come from Austria in the southern part, really in the countryside totally. There were only 11 houses, 2 farmers and a few houses. There was no street name, no asphalt on the streets, only dirt roads and everything. If we wanted strawberries or mushrooms, we went up in the forest and picked them in the summer. In the winter, we skied. So it was really in rural Austria. We had no running water, no central air or anything like that. The toilet was 100 meters outside in the garden, in the end of the garden. So I grew up fairly, modest, I would say. We had meat once a week, generally on Sundays. And then the rest, my grandmother and my mother were really good cooks. They cooked a lot of sweets, like a dish called Palatschinken or Kaiserschmarrn or Grießschmarrn, all these famous Austrian hard pastries. And I think Sundays we had Wiener Schnitzel or fried chicken. That was our big splurge, And I think I got lucky because it was all farm to table, really. When my mother made vegetable soup, she went in the garden, picked up a leek, had 2 potatoes, some carrots, a little cauliflower, maybe beans or peas, chopped them up, cook them, and you say, oh my God, they taste so delicious. And even today still, or when I used to go when she was alive, I always told her, Mom, make your vegetable soup. And I went in the summer right from the garden, and, she made it. And I said, oh, it reminds me of my childhood.
So your mom was the queen of organic farm-to-table food before it was a thing. Before it was a category, your mom may have been the innovator of farm-to-table. Now, when you were 17,
Totally.
when you were 17, I
Yeah.
understand that you decided to leave, and you went to France, where you stayed for 7 years.
Exactly.
What motivated
Yeah.
you to move to France and stay there for 7 years?
Well, we had a restaurant from Dijon called Trois Faisons. They came to cook in our hotel for a week and cook the specialty of Burgundy. So in Burgundy, the famous thing is snails, with the garlic butter.
Oof.
And they brought the shells with it, and I looked at it, oh, shit. Yeah, the snails are in the shells. I see them in the garden sometimes when it's raining,
Wow.
and where my parents lived, and they're eating that. And they were making pate, and they were cooking with a lot of wine. Like they make this beef stew with red wine, and I don't know how many bottles they used and everything. So I thought, this is really exciting, the way they cook. So I said, I want to go to France. So I wrote them a letter, and they accepted me as a stagiaire, and I started to work there. And then after 1 year, we got a star in the Guide Michelin, and I looked through the guide, and there were 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star restaurants. So I said, I'm not going home to Austria. I want to work in a 3-star restaurant. And the first restaurant who said yes was Beaumanière, Raymond Tullier at Beaumanière. And I think that was my luck, really, because up to then, I wasn't even sure if I'm going to stay as a cook. I liked it, but I wasn't really passionate about it. So, but when I saw Tullier at Beaumanière, he was the chef and owner. The passion he had for the ingredients, the passion he had for cooking, I said, I want to be like these guys. And I still remember, looking on the terrace, and Queen Elizabeth had a lunch there. Or he brought Pablo Picasso into the kitchen. And I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. On top of it, he had 3 stars and cooked amazing food.
You are a guy who, I know the listeners out there are listening today, they're taking notes. Can you give us the recipe? How many bottles of wine do you have to consume before snails become appealing?
You know what? It depends where you grow up, probably. It's like people eat duck feet or eat the eyes of the fish or eat the
Duck
brain.
feet?
So it really depends how you grow up. You look at the Chinese, they eat everything possible.
Wolfgang, you said
You
duck feet.
go-
Did you say duck feet?
Yeah.
Wow. That is...
You cook them, obviously you clean them of all the outer shells really well, and then you cook them in a good sauce until they get really gelatinous. Obviously, before you cook them, you cut off the nails and everything so it looks better. You don't want dirty nails in there. And then you eat them and you say, oh my God, this is really delicious.
Okay. Now you, my understanding is that you started hearing about Cadillacs, Chevrolets, American movies, and then you got inspired to move to the United States. Do you remember that moment when you thought, okay, I'm going to go to the United States of America?
As kids in Austria, we watched cowboy movies, and we watched these movies, I think, about the car chases in San Francisco and everything, and that was amazing. And then the pastry chef, I was working at Maxime's in Paris, at the beginning when I just started there, and he just came back from Chicago. Maxime's had opened an outpost in Chicago, and he told me, you know what, you're young, you should go to America, you make so much more money, and it's amazing, and this and that. And he walked me into it, and then by accident, a year later, a guy came to me, his name is Jean Denoyer from New York, and he needed a chef, and we had the same friend. He lived in New York already, but he had a friend in Paris who was also my friend, and they talked and said, you know what, I have this young Austrian who wants to go to America. Let's talk to him. And so they talked to me, and I got all excited and came to New York.
So what was the first job that you landed in New York?
So my friend Jean Denoyer, who's my friend now, brought me over to be a chef in his restaurant in New York called La Goulue. They have a few different versions of it. They just opened a new one, I think, on 61st Street and Madison. But at that time, it was 70th Street and Madison. And I walked into the restaurant and I said, this is not the cooking I want to do. They had like this bistro, like where they had steak frit and just simple dishes. Good dishes maybe, but simple. But I cooked in 3-star restaurants like Bombardier or Maxime's or Hotel de Paris in Monaco and so forth. So I said, I don't want to cook here. And then a friend of mine who owned La Goulue, La Grenouille in New York, Charles Mazon, I went to see him. I knew him from Paris. I went to see him. Maybe he had a job. And he says, I don't have a job right now, but let me call my friend in Chicago. He called his friend in Chicago, and they said, we need a chef in Indianapolis. And I said, Indianapolis, my eyes lit up, because I know of the 500-mile race they have there every May.
Right.
And then I said, I want to go because Indianapolis, I lived in Monaco. I said, in Monaco, they have a big outdoor race. And I said, that will be probably similar to Monaco. So I took the Greyhound bus with the last $100 I had left and took the bus from New York to Indianapolis, which took I think a day and a half or something to get there. And I got there and I said, this is Indianapolis, nothing like Monaco. But
right.
I had no more money, and I got a job there as a chef in a French restaurant.
Now, who first inspired you, or what first inspired you to become a restaurant owner?
When I came from Indianapolis to LA, and I worked in a restaurant called Ma Maison. Ma Maison at that time did like $20,000 a month in business. I mean, that was in the 70s.
Wow.
And little by little, we went to 50,000. A year later to 100,000 a month. That was the total revenue a month.
Wow.
And then we grew and grew and grew. But Patrick, who was the owner then, still didn't trust me really. He still had to manage or sign the checks when he wasn't there and everything. Even I was a part owner too. They didn't have the money to pay me, so he gave me like 8 or 10% of the restaurant. And that at that time was 8 or 10% of nothing really, because we didn't make any money. Everything was on COD. When I went to the fish market, I bought the lobster shells to make lobster soup. And some famous restaurant here called Scandia, they bought the lobster meat to make lobster cocktails. So we had no money, but I became successful with the restaurant. People loved the food. It became one of the most talked about restaurants. I remember having Orson Welles come every day for lunch, and I used to sit and talk to him. He even wrote a little introduction for my cookbook. So we became very friendly with a lot of other people too, like Billy Wilder, the Austrian movie director and writer, and with Chuck Lemmon and Susan Blanchett and Bob Newhart. So they all used to come like 2-3 times a week to Ma Maison. But Patrick didn't really trust me. And then I said, I have to do my own restaurant. I want to be in charge. I don't want to ask somebody for a raise. I want to decide what I'm going to cook. Even I did that there anyway. But if I wanted more money, if I wanted to change the plates, anything like that, I had to ask him because he signed the checks. So I said, I want to sign the checks. I want to be the one in charge. And then in 1981, I found this space on Sunset Boulevard. And in 1982, in January 16th, I opened Spago. And the rest is history.
My friend, how did you first get the money needed to open your restaurant, and how did you market Spago?
Okay, so I had a cooking school called Ma Cuisine, and I had a lot of lawyers. I had dentists and some shrinks and everything who used to come to my cooking classes because I made it participation. So they all were working, drinking, and I always had a case of wine there too. So I had like 18 people in my cooking class. And one day I announced that I want to open my own restaurant, but I don't have the money. So I drew up a business plan with the lawyer and said, okay, we're going to get investors. We need $500,000. And hopefully we have the space on Sunset Boulevard, and hopefully we can raise the money. So we raised the money. I went to the bank and I got $60,000. And we put together then, I think, like 550,000. And then I took the place, signed the lease, and built the restaurant. And the funny thing is, when I left my maison, Patrick told me, you will be back crying for your job. You had a good job here, but you're leaving this and that. I said, well, I'm not coming back. And as a matter of fact, so we opened in January Spago. It was a whole new way of the restaurant, new style of the restaurant with an open kitchen. We had a wood-burning pizza oven, a wood-burning grill. Now it seems like every restaurant has to have that, but at that time it was nothing in LA like that or in California. So
we talk about this often, but probably not enough. If you're going to open up a restaurant or any kind of business at all, you must be remarkable. And Wolfgang Puck just explained to you how his first restaurant, Spago, was different than the other restaurants of its time. It had an open kitchen where nobody else did. It had an open wood-burning stove, and nobody else did. It was just a different kind of restaurant. And if you're out there in this cluttered world of commerce and capitalism, and you want to get in front of your ideal and likely buyers and be successful, you're going to have to be remarkable. But one of the byproducts of being remarkable is that nobody ever receives unanimous praise, ever. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. If you are the president of the United States and you are President Obama, nobody receives unanimous praise. Even President Obama, who had a very high favorability score at one point, would only be approved by 58% of Americans, 57% of Americans. Even President Ronald Reagan, who was loved by Americans for a while there, his approval rating isn't going to go north of 60%, 65%. Nobody receives unanimous praise ever. And you cannot afford to die the death of 1,000 compromises with your business. You must absolutely fight for that purple cow that's going to differentiate your business and make you stand out. Because if you are not memorable, you are forgettable in this cluttered world of commerce and capitalism. And now back to our interview with Wolfgang Puck.
We opened a restaurant, and it became this immediate success, bigger than I ever thought. I wanted to have a little neighborhood restaurant, but it became huge. And I think it was the hardest thing. Every morning I went to the fish market. I went to a farm down in Rancho Santa Fe, the Chino farm, picking up vegetables. So we used really basic food and didn't make it complicated, but we just used the best ingredients. And I remember I had customers like Johnny Carson. We made pizzas at that time. So we made the smoked salmon pizza, duck sausage pizza, and things like that. And Johnny, every Friday, used to come and take 10 pizzas home. And I said to him, "Oh, Johnny, what are you doing with 10 pizzas? You have a party?" He said, "No, I put them in my freezer. And then when I play cards with my friends, my housekeeper makes me a pizza, and it's just as good as yours." He said, so I said, "Oh, that's not possible." And that's actually how I started my frozen pizza company, because he said he can cook them as well. So it ended up in another business.
So Johnny Carson is the inspiration for your frozen pizza collection.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we don't skip over some powerful knowledge bombs that Wolfgang Puck is breaking down. One, he talked about every morning he would go out and pick out fresh vegetables and fresh produce and fresh meat. Every day he would pick out the freshest ingredients every day. And as you listen to this interview, think about how hard Wolfgang Puck was working at the time. You see, success is built as a result of daily diligence that is implemented over the design of a decade or over 5 years. It's not about being diligent one time. It's not about being highly motivated for one day or having that one big idea. It's about being consistent. The diligence is the difference maker. Diligence means the steady application of effort, and the diligent people always win. Now, I want to tee up this particular portion of the interview. I want to make sure you're not skipping over this part. He said that Johnny Carson and others would basically buy pizzas from him and bring them home and put it in their freezers and then reheat them later. And he noticed that people were doing this, and then that became a product. You see, products just solve problems for your ideal and likely buyers at a profit. Again, entrepreneurs, they simply entrepreneurs, business people, successful business entrepreneurs. All they're doing is finding a problem that is being experienced by many of their ideal and likely buyers, and then they solve that problem at a profit. It is so important that you learn the process of finding a need and filling it. And every entrepreneur I've ever met who's super successful, they have this ability to see the problem that the customer is expressing or speaking about that nobody else really sees. They seem to be able to see the problem that Johnny Carson had. Johnny Carson wanted to have Wolfgang Puck's frozen pizza, but the market didn't, the product didn't exist yet to fill that market need. And so Wolfgang, after he saw this, Johnny Carson routinely buying his pizzas and freezing them, he realized, wow, that's a problem that the market has, and I'm going to fill it. I'm going to find a need and fill it. And that right there is why I'm so fired up about Wolfgang Puck. Grab a pen and a pad, and let's get back into the lab as we interview Wolfgang Puck. Your life is a fascinating one, and I don't expect you to do a bunch of research on me, but I did a bunch of research on you. And I grew up poor. It sounds like you grew up with very humble beginnings. I don't know what it's like to not be on my feet and to work, 12 hours a day. I don't understand that. I've never had a 9-to-5 job where I take a break. I started my first business when I was 16 in my parents' basement. I've been self-employed for a long time. Can I ask you, how many hours a week were you working when you launched Spago?
Well, let me just tell you how I started. When I interviewed somebody for a job, they asked me how many hours they work. I told them 12 hours is only half a day. If you want to work half a day, it's fine. So people looked at me and said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, isn't 12 hours half a day? And they said, yeah. So I said, well, you can work half a day or you can work more. And, obviously I paid them and everything. But
yeah.
So we or myself, or for sure, never counted the hours.
Can you just for the benefit of our listeners, there's about 500,000 people that just want to know, what time were you waking up when you were launching Spago? Were you waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning?
I used to go at 6:30 in the morning. So I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. I used to go to the fish market downtown.
Yeah.
Pick up the fish and then come back to the restaurant. Maybe by 9 or so, have a coffee, maybe go home, take a shower. I didn't live too far away. And then went back, talked with Mark Deal and Nancy Silverton, who were the chef and the pastry chef, what we're going to do that day. We looked at the fish I bought and everything. And then worked and finished the last customer maybe at midnight, 12:30. And often I used to sit at the end of the night and looking out the window, and I said, I don't know how I'm going to run this restaurant. People want to come. I tell them, come at 10:30. They said, okay, we come at 10:30. So we were cooking from 6, like the service was from 6 until 12:30 at night. Like
and Wolfgang, was that 7 days a
behind
week?
the grill and everything. It was really like crazy. I never thought we're going to be that busy. And I remember the second month we were open, we were positive we made money.
Were you open 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Well, I know you've never counted the hours, but I'm going to help you here because this is. I know you don't. I want the listeners out there to know. It sounds like you're working at least 18 hours a day, and 7 days a week. So you probably logged 126 hours a week. I think that's a fair estimate. 120. So that is that is awesome, and that is so encouraging for somebody out there who feels like, man, I'm working so hard. Because now people look at you and say, wow, but a lot of people don't want to focus on the grind and the energy and the effort you put in all those years to build this thing. Can you comment on, there was Japanese investors that reached out to you to open a Spago in Tokyo. And if I get the story correct, I think they said, we would love to open up a Spago in Tokyo. We'd love for you to help us. But if not, we'll just open it on our own. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
As you begin to scale your business, somebody is going to want to copy your business plan and your systems exactly. It's going to happen, so just go ahead and emotionally prepare yourself.
So what happened is these Japanese people came over And because we got so much press so fast, the whole new sensation and open kitchen. Nobody had the white tablecloth restaurant with the kitchen open, and it was like a theater stage and everything. So when they came over and they wanted to do a restaurant, and at first I said, no, forget it. I barely can run one restaurant. How can a run a restaurant in Tokyo so far away? So they came back maybe 3 or 4 months later, and with the plans, with the kitchen layout, exactly what I had and everything. As a matter of fact, it was funny because just like Spargo, it was up the hill a little bit from Sunset. They found the thing on the second floor of a little building that you had to go up some steps. And they lined the kitchen up with the pizza oven, with the pasta cooker, with everything, the cold station, exactly like I had it. They took pictures of the furniture. They knew where to get the chairs, where to get everything.
If you are an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, trust nobody. You have so many competitors out there that are looking just to copy your stuff. They're going to want to copy all your business cards, your print pieces, your strategies, your processes, every checklist. People are going to want to copy it. So once you begin to nail down your business model and the systems that work, now you want to look at copywriting and trademarking the things you've worked so hard to build and test in this marketplace. Again, get out there, try to sell it. Get it in front of the marketplace. Don't listen to what people say about your product, but look at whether people buy your product. Don't sit there and run your product idea by a bunch of your good buddies and they all say, yeah, I'm definitely going to buy it. Go out there and actually market the product and see how many people buy the product. And then when people don't buy the product, ask them what you could do to improve that product or service or restaurant or business. And then once you get that business model refined, that product refined, once you create something that the world likes and the world wants to buy, it is absolutely vital as soon as possible, once you nail it down and before you scale it, that you take the time to trademark and copyright the core aspects of your business model that make it unique.
So they basically told me that, and I didn't copyright the name Spargo or anything like that. So they told me, we're going to open Spargo with you or without you. So I said, okay, let's open it with me. So they gave me 1/3 of the business. And then we went, and the year after, in 83 in April, we opened Spargo in Tokyo, which was a trip. And I took the pastry chef with me, and I took a chef with me, and a manager with me, and they all stayed there. I stayed there maybe 2 weeks, and it was an experience for me, I must say. You know what? I never thought that after a year, I'm going to open my second restaurant so far away. And then 6 months later, in September, I opened a restaurant in Santa Monica called Chinois, which was my version of a Chinese restaurant. And that came like by accident. So somebody owned this little building there. And they said, oh, Wolfgang, we want a Spargo in Santa Monica, which is like 12 miles from the original Spargo. And I said, no, I don't want to do another Spargo. It's too boring doing the same thing. And they said, so what do you want to do? I said, I want to do a Chinese restaurant. So then the guy said, okay, whatever you do, I'm sure it will be good. So we opened this Chinese restaurant, but I didn't know about Chinese food. I never cooked Chinese food. I never cooked in a wok. So I said, okay, I want to do my style of Chinese food. And it really became this sensation. And even yesterday, it was Chinese New Year. We celebrated at Chinois. A group of Chinese people who came from China and ate the food. And the first thing they said, we never had Chinese New Year. We never had a menu like that in Beijing. They were from Beijing. They said, we're going to come now for every Chinese New Year celebration you have. So even the Chinese said, you know what, this is really interesting. Now, some local Chinese restaurants didn't like it because we were packed. You had to reserve 2 weeks ahead of time. And their restaurant was maybe half empty, and it was different. And they said, that's a Caucasian cooking Chinese food. How can that happen? So
right.
Some controversy with it.
I'm going to keep harping on this idea because it is so important that somebody out there gets this idea today. Seth Godin, the best-selling author of The Purple Cow, Transform Your Business by Being Remarkable, writes, if you're remarkable, it's likely that some people won't like you. That's part of the definition of remarkable. Nobody gets unanimous praise ever. The best the timid can hope for is to be unnoticed. criticism comes to those who stand out. Wolfgang was out there in the marketplace generating a buzz. He's out there creating Chinese food, but yet he's a Caucasian guy. And you know what happened? Certain people got upset with him. And you know what's going to happen to you? Certain people are going to get upset with you, because if you are remarkable, somebody won't like it. Just read my iTunes reviews to see. Nobody ever receives unanimous praise. It doesn't matter how hard I work on this podcast. It doesn't matter how hard you work on your business. It doesn't matter what I say on this show or what I don't say on this show. It doesn't matter what you do in your business or what you don't do. Even if you do everything perfectly to the absolute best of your ability, you will receive criticism, because the best that Tim can hope for is to be unnoticed. Criticism comes to those who stand out. You don't look Chinese to me. Do you have any Chinese ancestry at all there, Wolfgang? Because you make some incredible Chinese food.
Yeah, I tell everybody I'm part Chinese. My mother was Chinese, half Chinese, so it's just a dead joke. But no, but I think today, you look in America, doesn't matter if you are from Africa or if you are from England or wherever you are from, you can cook great food as long as you love food and as long as you have passion.
Now, we interviewed recently a man by the name of Shep Gordon, a man who I know you know very well. Could you talk to me about your relationship with Shep and the role he played in helping you to become the celebrity chef that you are today?
It's so interesting because when I know Shep Gordon for many years, through music theater to George Drive, who passed away already. So when Shep was in LA and he produced movies, he was in the record business with Alice Cooper and all these guys. So, and we became very friendly because he liked food. I became friends with anybody who likes food, like Newton was awesome world. And then I got Shep Gordon. So one time we were with Shep. He came to us. We did the whole thing in Hawaii. I think it was on a big island of Hawaii, like a chef's thing, like what's called the bounty of Hawaii. So we had different chefs from all over the country, a little bit like Paul Prudhomme, Alice Waters, Jonathan Waxman, I don't know, maybe a few more. And we were like the main singers. So then, when it was over, the next day, we were all sitting there for lunch, and I had my chef from Postrio, Mitch Rosenthal, make lunch for us, and then they gave us a bill. I was polite because we had some salads, but he actually went and made the food. And then they gave us the bill, and he said, what is wrong with this picture here? You guys work here? He said, did they pay you? I said, no. They gave us a free room and paid for the trip. He said, yeah, but they charge every customer, and now they even charge you. So he said, you guys have an agent? I said, no. And he said, maybe we have to get and plan it better. So I called my friends. I called Paul and Alice and Emerald and Jonathan and I don't know how many we are, maybe 8 or 10 chefs, Mark Miller and Larry Forgione. And so then we all sat together in a restaurant in San Francisco and decided he should become our agent. Now, at that time, I started to get really busy already. So what a chef really did a lot then for Emerald, for Dean Faring. I was so busy already because I owned all these restaurants already by then. I did consulting for an airline. I did consulting for the mansion in Dallas, for the Hana Ranch in Maui, for the Remington in Houston. So I didn't need really chef to do work for me because I couldn't go and cook in New Orleans or in Dallas or whatever and get $5,000 a day, which at that time for us was a lot of money. But he helped a lot all these other guys who did not have TV experience. Like I did the Johnny Carson show and David Letterman show and Good Morning America from 86 on. So I was already on TV at that time. There were no chef really was on TV as much as I was. But, he helped a lot of other chefs and he did a great job with them. And we are still great friends. Now, did he influence my career? He did. Why? And what was really positive, he said, don't sell yourself cheap, so charge enough money.
Now, your food, your name, your brand is synonymous with cuisine, with gourmet, with a celebrity chef. Why have you decided to put your name on all of your products? A lot of people, pull back from that. Why have you decided to put your name on all of the products?
Curiosity. I am very curious about doing all different things. So in the 80s, a friend of mine told me, okay, we don't have any good soups there. You have Campbell's soup and Progress soup, but they are not really quality. Why don't you devise recipes and make soup? So we went then and made a really delicious soup, just like we made it in the restaurant. Now we had to put it in canned too, but at least the ingredients were good. Like at that time when you tasted like my French onion soup and their French onion soup of the other companies, it was like day and night. So that became pretty successful too then. So I was always interested in different things. So then I remember Lou Waterman came up to me and says that they built the Universal City Walk and says, Wolfgang, why you don't build a Spago up there? We really need a restaurant. I said, City Walk is a tourist here. There, people don't want to spend that money and spend that much time. They come and visit the Universal Film Studios. So that's when I started the first cafe, and now we have cafes like that in airports around the world and in Disney World and places like that. So I think for me, when there's something new, I really love it. And then years later, in the 90s, I was friendly with George Foreman. And George Foreman and a friend of mine made up this grill, the Foreman Grill, which became a sensation and hugely successful. And then the guy who worked with George told me and said, Wolfgang, why you don't do something like that? I said, well, okay. And then we started to make pots and pans. We tried to sell them on QVC. I didn't know how to sell them or whatever. I think they were way too expensive and whatever. So then we sold them off at HSN. And then I talked to the people at HSN, and we made a cheaper version of that. Still good quality, but not as expensive, not as thick, the iron and everything. So then that became a really good business all of a sudden. So I stayed with it, and I'm still there for over 20 years now. So why do I do it? Sometimes I ask myself, why do you do all that stuff? Like 2 years ago, the Wall Street Journal did an article about me, and then they asked me, so Wolfgang, you do all these things, and what is your dream? What you're still thinking of? And I said, my dream would be to go to Harvard. I never went to high school. I never went to college or anything. Sure enough, a few days later, the dean of Harvard Business School calls and says, Wolfgang, I have the perfect thing for you. It's called OPM, Owner President's Management. It's about 3 months long, not in one course. It's 3 times a month. You should try to do that if you really want to go, if that is really your dream. Wow. So what did I do? I enrolled at Harvard. So I have 1 more month to go. So in March, end of March, I'm going to graduate.
Well, pre-congratulations. That's exciting, my friend.
I know. So I said, who would have known when I come from this little village in Austria, where the school had 2 rooms only, 2 classrooms, and now I went to Harvard. It's like, to me, it is like a dream. Sometimes when I say, is it really true? That's funny. But what it is really is my curiosity, I think. I'm interested in so many different things. I'm curious with so many different things. So that's why I do so many things. And sometimes Galila, my wife, tells me, when are you going to rest? When are you going to be? You're not so young anymore. You think you're young, but you're not that young anymore. Why you don't just relax and don't do all that stuff? I say, well, but I like it. So,
my friends, you see, Wolfgang Puck isn't in a rush to retire because he loves what he does. And I'll never forget, years ago, I was reading a book called Life and Death, which is written by Russell Simmons. And Russell Simmons is the legendary founder of the legendary co-founder of a company called Def Jam. They introduced the world to the Beastie Boys, to LL Cool J, to Jay-Z, and other massive hip-hop artists. He essentially is known as like the father of hip-hop. He also launched the Def Comedy Jam, and he was the founder of the Fat Farm clothing and apparel line. But he says the goal is to be able to live your life the way that Michael Jordan played basketball or Marvin Gaye sang a song. To be able to feel the way you feel when you laugh at a joke, but to feel that way all the time. Wow. What would it be like if you could build a business that would allow you the time freedom and financial freedom to do whatever you wanted to do on a daily basis, to pursue your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun? What would it be like if you could do that? Because once you get to a place in life where every day is a perfect day that has been perfectly designed by you, it is so exciting. Yeah, there will be some interruptions and a few frustrations along the way, but that is infinitely exciting for me. And I can honestly tell you, that's what I love about doing this show, is because I know that every time I interview these guests, this is what the Lord wants me to do. I'm doing what I'm called to do. I'm helping great people like you, and I know that you're going to find that business model that's going to create that time and financial freedom for you as well. Now back to our interview with Wolfgang Puck.
I am 69.
Well, you look like you're probably 34. Now, if I had to guess, you're probably eating all that organic stuff your mom taught you about as a kid. That's probably what's going on right there. Now, I want to ask you this because there's so many listeners that are just infinitely curious about this. How do you organize the first 4 hours of your day, and what time do you typically wake up?
So I get up like at 6 in the morning. At 6:30, I wake up my son Oliver, and then I read the paper a little bit. I wake him up, and then we have a trainer who comes and he exercises with me in the morning. Or sometimes he doesn't exercise when he has to go to school or whatever. But the school he goes to is 5 minutes away, so it makes it really easy. So then after that, I take a shower, get ready, and then I look what are my appointments for today, which I have to keep, So, and then by 9 o'clock, I leave the house and I go or to Spargo or to the Bel Air Hotel or to Catfish Beverly Hills and look what's going on there. Now, on Wednesdays, I might go in the morning early, like right after the exercise is 7:30. I go to the farmers market in Santa Monica. Sometimes I go downtown also to the fish market still. I don't have to, but I like it. So, and then at 12 o'clock, generally, I go to Spargo because we have lunch, or the Bel Air Hotel, we have lunch. But then 2 hours there. Then I come here to my office and look through all the things I have to do and, plan new restaurants and do all that stuff. And then at 6 o'clock, and sometimes at 4:30, I go and play tennis for an hour. Especially if I'm stressed about something, tennis is good because I can hit the ball as hard as I want to.
Right.
He doesn't talk back. Yeah. So then I go do that. And then around 6:37, I have dinner with my wife, Galila, and my 2 boys, Alexander, Oliver, and right now Byron also, who is, training to be a chef and restaurateur too. And then I go back to the restaurant maybe for a few hours. Like last night, I was down at Chicago for Chinese New Year, and I sat with Gwyneth Paltrow for a while and with Dr. Alatraj, who is the doctor for the Rams, and we talked about the Super Bowl, and walked in the kitchen and talked to Chef Rene for a while. And then at 11 o'clock, I drove home.
So you went home at 11 o'clock last night?
Yeah.
Now, you are a guy who, you're involved in a lot of things. You got your own brands of food. You have books you've written. You have restaurants you run.
Yeah.
How many different businesses, and maybe you don't even know the exact answer, but how many different businesses are you involved in right now, or different locations? How many different businesses?
Okay. To make it simpler for you, we have really 3 divisions in our business, or I have 3 divisions in my business. One is called fine dining. Where all the restaurants, we have 27 restaurants around the world, like we are in LA, Las Vegas, Dallas, Chicago, Dallas, New York, Detroit, Washington, Orlando, London, Istanbul, Singapore, Bahrain, Qatar, and so forth, Maui. So we have 27 of them, and 2 more in the building process, and one in Washington, D.C., and then one in Los Angeles here at the Bantry Hotel that we're going to run the whole food service. So we're working on that right now. And then the most exciting part is going to be, but it's a few years away, we are working with Frank Gehry to open a restaurant on the beach here in LA. So that's going to be a big project, and but it's a few years away.
Now, I want to ask you about I have two final questions for you. You have this restaurant in New York that you've launched. Tell us about this newest venture and what it's like and why all the listeners should go check it out. Yeah.
Now, you know what? Cut in New York at the Four Seasons Hotel downtown is really a jewel in a way. It is a steak restaurant, a steakhouse restaurant, but with a lot of different options. If you're a vegan, you can go there and have the most exciting vegan meal. Like I was there and I had the risotto with celery and black truffle. I said, you know what? I don't need meat if I have a dish like that. But we also have turbo, which is my favorite fish. We also have black bass, which is great, and lobster. And then we have meats from all over a little bit, but also a lot of local ingredients. We use local beef and local lamb from New York State, actually. And from Pennsylvania, we get the duck and chicken. So it's really locally oriented. And it was designed by Jacques Garcia, who is really an amazing designer. So you can come to the bar and have little snacks at the bar, from the mini burgers to a steak tartare or some Asian-influenced dishes. And we have little biscuits, like a Southerners biscuits with caviar and smoked salmon. So you can have that, or you go to the restaurant, and there you have great appetizers, great raw fish dishes and things like that, salads. And then if you love steak, like one of my favorite one is the double New York steak, cooked on the bone. And I cook it like medium rare and cook the bone really well done, so it gets really hot inside too. And then just keep it simple, put a little sea salt on top and maybe a little sauce from my French fries, because I love French fries and onion rings. And then for dessert, I love pies. One of the great legends in America is all these different pies. If it's a pecan pie or a key lime pie or a banana cream pie, or a raspberry or blackberry pie or blueberry pie. So I'm bringing this whole new idea of modernizing it and bring it there so people can have a great steak and maybe a blueberry pie with some blueberry ice cream for dessert, or maybe a pecan pie. So for me, it's really exciting also to reinvent the old school dishes and make them new again.
Wolfgang, my
so
final...
I think if you go to Cut, I think you can come to the bar, just hang out at the bar, have a drink, and have some bar snacks, but really good, interesting one. Like right now, we have a great sourdough right there, and we make a grilled cheese sandwich with black truffles. And you know what? People say, I'm just going to have a dinner with that, have a glass or two glasses of red wine, and have that's for dinner, the grilled cheese sandwich with black truffles. Or people don't want truffles, we make it without the truffles. But I think it's really simple and really, really tasty.
Now, for the listeners out there that are taking notes, where's this located again? You said it's in the Four Seasons?
In the Four Seasons Hotel downtown on Church Street.
Okay. Now, my final question for you. Listeners out there who won't get a chance to talk to you one-on-one, if you're sitting down there with a young entrepreneur today, and they're asking you for, Wolfgang, what's the one piece of advice? What's the one, if you could give me just one piece of the golden keys to the universe, talk to me. What's the advice you would give all the entrepreneurs out there?
Well, I really believe, if you are passionate about whatever you do, if it's in the food business, in the tech business, I think you have to follow your dreams and don't take no for an answer. There are so many naysayers out there who said you won't be successful. And like when I told people, 38 years ago, that I'm going to make pizza, they said, Wolfgang, you're crazy. Nobody's going to come to your restaurant and eat pizza. And then we invented a new style of pizza, and it became all the rage. And, it spawned up hundreds of restaurants where they make different pizzas. So don't take no for an answer, but also be patient. A lot of people think success is overnight. Success is like walking up steps into a big building, It's one step at a time, and I think that's really important. But I tell all the young chefs especially, too, to be patient. Go to work in good restaurant. Make the mistakes there. Learn there. And then, if you're ready, you say, okay, I know cooking is an important part of the restaurant business, but you have to manage a lot of people. You won't have to make money because if not, you won't stay in business. So it's a lot of components, to run a restaurant or any business.
Wolfgang, it is an honor to have you on the show. Hopefully this is not the worst interview you've ever been on. I thank you so much, my friend.
Never. You know what? I really think for me, if I can inspire some young people and tell them, you know what? I started with nothing. I had not a penny left when I went to Indianapolis. I had to stay in a motel. I couldn't check out. I had no money to pay for it. But I think at the end of the day, if you work hard and you think for yourself, 12 hours is only half a day. I guarantee you, if you're patient, you have passion, you will be successful.
Wolfgang, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
I know I'm getting ready for the Oscars almost. So.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you take care, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. So if you've been listening to today's show, there's a lot you can unpack. There's a lot of specific steps that Wolfgang taught, but I just want to kind of recap a few of the knowledge bombs that I think that every listener out there should be very aware of. 1, Wolfgang Puck was willing to work 7 days a week to make his dreams happen. I'm not saying you should work 7 days a week, but I think you should ask the question to yourself rhetorically, how many hours per week am I actually willing to work to turn my goals and dreams into reality? Because Wolfgang Puck was willing to work 7 days a week. Maybe you want to work 5 days a week or 6 days a week, but you have to be intellectually honest about what you're asking for. If you want to be great, you've got to be willing to invest great amounts of hours. And if you want to be average, you got to put in average amount of hours. And that's just what's required to be successful. Second teaching point. Wolfgang Puck talked about this. He said that he went out there and borrowed, he raised money. He raised over $500,000 of investment capital to start his first restaurant after he'd been working for years for other people. And I would ask you this, what's your risk tolerance? Are you willing to raise $500,000 to start something you believe in? Or maybe $10,000 or $20,000 or $100,000. But you've got to be very self-aware about your risk tolerance and how much money you're willing to bet on your big idea. Knowledge bomb number 3, action item number 3 that I heard during today's show is Wolfgang created a purple cow. When Wolfgang created his first restaurant, Spago, he created a business that was very different from any other business. It was the only restaurant that he knew of with an open kitchen and a wood-fired oven. It was the first restaurant that did a lot of things differently than everybody else, and that's why he stood out. When he started his first Asian restaurant, he was a Caucasian guy starting an Asian restaurant. Again, these are purple cows. These are remarkable ideas, and that is why his businesses stood out in the cluttered world of commerce and capitalism. So I want you to ask yourself today, what are your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun? What are your goals for your faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, and fun? And what are you willing to give up in order to achieve those goals? And if you enjoyed today's show, I would encourage you to share today's show with a friend or a family member. You're listening to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. And therefore, we end each and every show with a boom because we believe that the big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum that Wolfgang Puck brought to his business on a daily basis is what you need to succeed. And so now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
Bombs away.
Yes, 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 and yes. On today's show, we're talking about save now or beg later. If you cannot save money, the seeds of greatness are not within you. Think about that for a second.
Think about that for a second. Save now or beg later. If you cannot save money, the seeds of greatness are not in you. Well, what does that mean? Well, on today's show, we're going to break down the specific moves that you must use in order to build up a war chest. When bad things happen to the economy, or when great things happen to the economy, you want to always be saving money. That way you can weather the storms that are going to happen as a business owner or as a human on the planet Earth. Did you know that even before the coronavirus panic, shutdown, government overreaction, did you know that even before that, in a time of economic prosperity, did you know that even during a time of economic prosperity, 78% of American workers were living check to check, according to Forbes? Jason, you've worked with me for a long time now, multiple years at this point, 3 years or more, I believe. Why do I talk about the importance of saving money at virtually every single all-staff meeting?
Well, because it's important, and most people don't get that info anywhere else. A lot of people find saving hard because they've never had a conversation about how to properly save money or just to save money.
Talk to the listeners out there about what I typically talk about in our meetings, just so I can verify if I'm a really bad teacher or a good teacher.
Yeah, we always start off with a win, and then that win will go into an example of an idea, and then that idea will turn into a learning experience. And so without missing a beat, you always work in saving at least 3% of your total income or more if you want. Then you give really good examples of people who are in the room who are doing that or who have gone like above and beyond, and that saving has shown like massive success for them.
And what is the method that I teach as it relates to saving money?
Automating your savings, just opening a savings account and going to Vanessa, having her put in your whatever that new account number is, and then just picking a specific percentage of your income to go automatically in there every payroll.
And who's Vanessa for the listeners out there that don't know?
She is the wonderful master of accounting, also known as your wife.
Okay, so let's make sure all the listeners get this idea. Step one, you want to automate your savings. You want to automate your savings. You, if you're listening right now, you are probably a very disciplined person. You are probably a very busy person. You're probably a great person. You're probably the kind of person who's a wonderful American. But at the end of the day, all of the data shows you will not, on average, go deposit money into your savings account unless you automate your savings.
Right.
Jeff with Boom Mobile, what's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm doing great, sir.
Now, my understanding is that you guys at Boom Mobile are having an absolutely record month, record week, record days. You guys are growing. Why are you growing so much over there at Boom Mobile?
Just in the time that we're in right now, it's an opportunity for people to save money.
So when you right now, people are looking for ways to cut expenses.
Absolutely.
And they are finding Boom Mobile. And how can Boom Mobile help people save money?
Off of their cell phone bills. So they are now analyzing their cell phone bills. They're analyzing everything that they're doing right now, and they're trying to find a way to cut expenses in every spot.
So specifically, how can Boom Mobile help a customer save money?
Specifically on their cell phone bill. So it depends on how many phones they have in the house, and depending on what that is, that savings can range anywhere from 20 to 50%.
So let's say that I am a listener out there, and I use T-Mobile or AT&T or some other cell phone provider. How do you help a listener save money on their cell phone bill?
So we take their bill. If you're at T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, we utilize all those towers ourselves. So you're just going to make a little hot swap where you're going to bring your service over to us. You can even keep the same network that you were using, and we're just going to reduce the cost of your bill.
How do you do that?
That how comes from the fact that we have better contracts as a corporate entity with each one of those three networks than what you can as an individual.
So you're saying if I'm listening right now and I have my service with T-Mobile or AT&T, I can keep the same service, but I'm going to pay you less money.
That is correct.
What does the average person spend per month on their cell phone bill? When you sit down and look at the average person's cell phone bill, I'm talking about business owners, self-employed people, people who are employees, people who work for nonprofits, profits, just the average person out there. What does the average person spend per month on their smartphone bill?
Yeah, so I would say it's generally hardly ever under $100 per person.
And how much can you help them save typically?
Our bill hardly ever reaches $100
Really?
per person.
Wow.
Okay, so you help the average person save how much?
Anywhere from 20 to 50%.
Wow.
Jason, how much is your cell phone bill every month on average?
Well, it's I pay for mine and my wife's. I paid it let's say, the third, so I paid it 2 days ago, and it was like $220
for both of you.
for both. Yeah. So
Nathan,
like
what's your
110
average
apiece.
cell phone bill? What's your average cell phone bill?
About $200 to $300 depends on what lease item we're still paying for.
Your cell phone bill's how much?
$200 to $300.
For how many phones?
We've got 5.
5?
Yep.
When was the last time that you looked at your cell phone bill and said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can save money here.
I haven't in a long time. It's one of those you set it and you forget it, and it's one of those things you say, hey, maybe I could save some money here, and this would be a good option.
I will be honest, the last time I looked at my cell phone bill was signing the contract for T-Mobile, and they were like, sir, this is what you're paying today. I'm like, is that what I pay every month? They're like, no, it'll change based on whatever you have. I'm like, okay. And then it just, like Nathan said, automated, so I had no idea.
So let's think about this. If you're out there listening today and you're saying, well, what am I supposed to do with this information? This is really simple. This is a simple thing to do, but I want to make sure that you do it because, Jeff, when people automate their phone bill, they don't forget to pay their phone bill.
Absolutely.
Because the phone company automatically charges them or sends them a bill, and then if you don't pay your bill, Jeff, walk us through how this works. If we don't pay our bill, or our smartphone bill, what eventually happens?
Your service will be disconnected, and if it gets disconnected, then you could lose your phone number.
Okay. So there's a penalty if we don't automatically pay that bill.
That's correct.
But with savings, there's no penalty.
That is also correct.
So, Jason, before you worked with us, I'm not going to ask you specifically about your saving habits.
Do it.
But
they were terrible.
They were terrible?
Oh, yeah.
Well, tell me what your saving habits were then, I guess, before coming to work with myself.
Oh, yeah. So I was a dumb, let's see, I started working for you guys when I was like 24. So I'd only been working for like maybe 6 years, and I was that paycheck to paycheck guy. Friday would come along, I'm like, cool, I got paid. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Or awesome, I want those new shoes or, those headphones. And I would never look at my bank account. And then I would be somewhere like a QT, and I'm going to get gas, and they're like, well, you wanted 20, you can get 10. I thought, well, that's weird. I'd look at my account and go, oh, I should probably keep track of these things. And I never did. Or I would say, you know what, I need to be better at this. I'm going to budget out, and this is how dumb I was. I'd get my budget planned out, and I would see exactly what I would need to make to or what I would need to make in order to pay all those, and I'd get them paid, and then say, okay, this is fun money, and the rest is savings. And then the savings would always turn into fun money.
So let's talk about this. Here are the practical steps that everybody should take today. And it's not complicated, but it can get very complicated.
Yeah.
Step 1. You must go out there today, and you must decide that you are going to automate your savings. It has to happen. If you do not automate your savings, you're not going to save money. It's just not going to happen. I don't know people that save money unless they automate their savings.
Yeah, it's like you said, nobody is going to the bank and saying, oh, hey, Nathan, my banker, here's $500, put this in my savings. Cha-ching.
It almost never happens.
I've never seen it. I've never done it, and I've even successful people that I know, they automate it.
So again, how do you automate your savings? If you work for somebody, again, Jason, what did you do to automate your savings?
I filled out a separate direct deposit form, and I had to, one, secure a savings account, and then I had to take that account number, put it on the piece of paper, fill out exactly either the percentage or the overall total that I wanted to come out of every single paycheck, turn that into Vanessa, have her analyze it, and then have her update my, my payroll account.
Now, once you've decided in your mind that you're going to automate savings, okay, step 2 is you want to do it within 72 hours. Mm-hmm. Do it within 72 hours of right now. 72 hours of right now. Somebody should write this down. You need to begin automating your savings now. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Are you going to do it as soon as you finish listening to the show? Are you going to do it tomorrow morning? Are you going to put it in the calendar? What gets planned, what gets put into the calendar gets done. What gets scheduled gets done. If you'll take the time to simply determine right now, when are you going to schedule that meeting with yourself to begin automating your savings? This is super important. Listen, I don't benefit, Mr. Listener, Mrs. Listener, I don't benefit from you directly saving money. But I know of the benefits you're going to have. When the economy goes up and it's roaring and booming as it was just a few months ago, then you're going to be happy that you saved money. So you have money to invest in advertising and to additional equipment or products or services that you need to grow your business. You're going to love that you have saved money. when the economy contracts or has a recession or a dip or a recovery or whatever it looks like, you're going to be happy that you saved money when the economy has a tough time. And again, I've been self-employed here essentially since the age of 16. And so I've gone through the Great Recession. I was in business when the 9/11 events happened, and you saw the economy struggle there for a while. I have been in business through economic booms and busts, and the entire time I've been able to navigate those tough financial situations because I am a saver. And you need to become a saver. You need to do it. W. Clement Stone, the best-selling author, he once wrote, "If you cannot save money, the seeds of greatness are not in you." Again, he writes, "If you cannot save money, the seeds of greatness are not within you." It's so important that you actually determine a time right now, at this very moment, take the time to write down when you are going to begin saving money. It is so important that you do this. And if you don't automate your savings, you're not going to save money. And Jason, there's somebody out there who's having these little mental debates with themselves. Mm-hmm. They want to make it more complicated than this. They want to somehow read a financial investment book. They want to go to a financial seminar. They want to there's like a debate going on right now mentally for somebody out there.
Yep.
But step one, you have to decide to automate your savings. And step two, you have to do it now.
Right.
As soon as possible. What kind of mental debates did you have with yourself as I told you to automate your savings for the first time and the second time and the third time? Because every single week, like a hammer, I unrelentingly tell people, automate your savings. If you work on my team, it is almost more comfortable to automate your savings than to not do it.
Yeah.
Because I bring it up every single week.
Every single week.
Can you explain to the listeners out there maybe some of the mental battles you were fighting with yourself as you clearly began to know, I should probably automate my savings. But yet you didn't automate your savings for a while.
Right. So I had the same struggle that I'm not going to say I assume. I had the same struggles that I know everybody else has, and that's I came from a background, which no offense to my family, but I come from a background of people who weren't savers. There were people who got a paycheck, used that paycheck for bills and then everything else, and then we're like, well, I'm going to wait for the next one. And I did not have anybody in my corner until I met you and your team that taught me the importance of like actually being financially secure. So I always had, being somebody who didn't save, I had the same mindset that most people out there have when it comes to savings. Why would I put this in the bank and not touch it? Most people look at their savings as, oh, this is money I'll never get to use. And I think that's why most people struggle and they don't initially either automate it or just go and deposit things because they think they're losing it somehow. Well, no, you're losing it because you spend all of it. How about we take half of what half the money we're spending that we don't need on all the, let's say, fun items and then put it in the bank. So then that way, if something happens, like Jeff said, he was, saved because he had that money in his account.
Now, if you don't save now, you are going to beg for money later. You're going to beg for money later.
Right.
All right. So, again, step one, decide to automate your savings. Step two, do it now. Step three, you have to look for expenses that you can cut.
Yes.
You have to look for unneeded expenses to cut. Unneeded expenses to cut. Now, I'm going to go through a big list of unneeded expenses. And as I do it, I'm going to have Jeff and Nathan and Jason chime in here. We're going to go through this big old list of ways you can save money. All right?
Yes.
So way number one, look at your bill every month. Look at your bills every month. Now, you have to have a set time. All right? Now, let's talk about this. Jason, what do I do every Monday morning at approximately 7 a.m. with the team? Let's say it's 7 a.m. every Monday. 7 a.m. Think to yourself, 7 a.m. on Monday. Mm-hmm. What is happening at the office every single week? 7 a.m.
Well, 7 a.m. is when we start the coaches meeting on Mondays. But at the beginning of that meeting, you always have a big, so it's in bold font, it's slightly larger text, it's highlighted in yellow, and it says what cards did not go through. And you make sure that everybody who is in the system is submitting payment and it's coming in on time.
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Every what Monday. Time?
7 a.m.
On
Monday.
What time?
7 a.m. 7 o'clock in the morning.
Is that military time or?
We'll make sure we get this idea.
That's
7 a.m.
Mountain time?
If you're a business owner out there, you've got it's in the calendar.
Yeah.
And any client that we need to collect payment from, we do it.
Yep.
7 a.m. on Monday. Why? Because it's in the calendar.
Exactly.
Now, I don't think, Jeff, that a lot of people have a set time and place to look at their bills. I don't think they do that. I don't think I know they don't do that because they'll tell me. They'll say to me, the clients, the great people will say, you know, my wife and I just didn't get a chance to look at the bills this month. Why, Jeff? Why does it tend to not happen if you don't schedule a specific time to sit down and look at your bills every single month and look for expenses? Does it tend to not happen?
I believe it tends not to happen because you have very few people that are okay with where they're at.
And I find what happens is people, they don't look at their credit card statements because a lot of times they don't want to know what is in said statements. They don't want to know. They don't want to know.
That's what I'm saying. They're not okay with it.
Now, I will say this, because I don't really enjoy going out to eat or traveling or all the things that humanity gets into, I don't really find a lot of shocking expenses on my statements because I don't buy anything ever. And the things that are available to purchase, I don't like them. But I find people, I find people who are good people. Every time I've done this with a client, we sit down the first time. They say, well, how do I do it? I say, well, bring your credit card statements. And this is because they've never done it before. Bring them in, and we're going to take the meeting, and we're going to find expenses. And we'll go through, and I'm not kidding. These are things that we'll find. And every time I go through, and they'll go, oh, my gosh, I can't believe I spent that much money going out to eat. Every time. Every time. And I'm talking about people with really not the best income sometimes who are dropping insane amounts of money going out to eat. I find employees who have a $12 an hour job who average $18 a day going to Quick Trip and out to lunch or out to eat for lunch. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But when you look at the expenses for the first time, Nathan, why is it again, you're not a financial advisor. You are a carpet cleaning guy who owns your own business. But why do you think every single time I sit down with somebody and look at their credit card statements, we find things on there that they don't need, that they have been spending money on every single month?
Well, because a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. I like going back to the Song of Solomon 2:15 says, the little foxes spoil the vine. It's not the big thing that normally gets you. It's the little, small trickle of things that you realize turn into this mountain later. And honestly, it's what Jeff just said, is that if you don't know about it, you're quote-unquote not responsible. It's the not it kind of a philosophy that a lot of business owners take to their business, is that, well, I'll just figure it out next month. But then next month never comes. It's the tomorrow syndrome.
It's very, very interesting how often people are wasting money on things that they don't think about. Jeff, when you sit down with somebody and you look at their cell phone bill for the first time, how often is somebody absolutely shocked that they're spending that much money on their phone bill?
I haven't met a single person yet that could tell me what they're paying for.
And is the bill normally less than what people think it is, or more?
Oh, it's definitely more. And they definitely don't know what they have for that more.
How much more is it usually for people than they think it's going to be?
I would say it's anywhere from $30 to $100 more.
Than they think it is?
Yes.
Every time?
Yep.
Why?
Just because they never look at it.
I see. What I find is when you go to T-Mobile or you go to AT&T or whatever, the sign says, Jason, it's like four phones.
Yep.
Get 4 lines for $200.
Yep.
And we hear it like that. We're like, 4 lines for $200. We're excited. We want it to be 4 lines for $200. Are you telling me 4 lines for $200?
I've done it many times.
There's part of our brain that hears. This is how we hear it.
Yeah.
I'm getting a hot deal. I'm the only guy in America. 4 lines for $100. 4 lines for $200. 4 lines for $200, and I get a free iPad. Come on, woo! We found a treasure. We're like we're it's almost like a secret.
Yep.
Like we're going. I have found the secret route. Nobody else knows about this.
Nope, just us.
We almost feel bad.
Yep.
We're going.
We're taking advantage of T-Mobile here. Come on.
Paying for. And so it's almost like we have won the and the sales guy kind of makes you feel like you're on like you have found the secret treasure.
Right.
Because the sign says 4 lines for $200. So you feel as though it's like a secret that they advertise and everyone sees, but somehow you're the only one. And the sales guy says, "Now, sir, here's the deal. I'm going to throw in the iPad." Like, he acts like he's doing this.
Yep.
He'll say, "I'm going to throw in the iPad. I'm going to throw in the phone. Now, I'll just add it to your monthly bill. Just a little boom, boom, And then, he's going to throw it in.
Yep.
You hear him say it. They say these words. Do you not hear these words?
Oh, yeah.
I'll just throw that in for you, sir. I'll throw that in. Just add to your bill, a monthly, boom, boom. And Jeff, people feel like they're getting a sweet hot deal.
Oh, absolutely.
And the guy says, "Well, I'll just throw that in. Get the iPad. You want an iPad? I'll get an iPad. Boom. iPad, phone, boom, boom. Get that. You want me to tack on a little unlimited minutes? I'll do that for you. You want unlimited data? I'll throw that in." He's a generous man.
Yeah, very.
And he throws in all these things. And then he doesn't mention that every month, what kind of taxes are on your cell phone bill, Jeff?
My goodness.
What kind of taxes? What kind of fees are on phone bills that people are not aware of?
Well, so taxes are a funny piece on the mobile side because, boy, how do I break this down? So the tax side can go anywhere from basically 0 to more than 30%. And if you look at T-Mobile, you look at AT&T, and AT&T is the worst. They sit 25 to 30% on their taxation. Mobile bills don't necessarily have to be taxed because data is not taxed. It's only the minutes that are taxed. And so if you account for most of the plan cost being inside of data and not to a minutes or a text, then there's not much tax paid on it. Not too many people operate that way, but we do.
So, again, if you're out there listening today, I would say by default, most people are not aware of their phone bill. They're not aware. Nathan, you have a hot take.
Well, since we're talking about it, I decided guilt's setting in. So I just jumped on my phone here and I pulled it up and I realized I was incorrect. I told you 200 to 300. I was wrong.
How much is it?
It's actually 318. So I realized I'm talking about this, but I'm part of that group. I need to be looking at this a little closer.
I'm telling you, step 1, you have to decide to automate your savings. Step 2, do it. Step 3, look at your expenses every month. Set a specific time. And I just don't know people who drift into this behavior. I don't know anybody who does it. Some of my clients I've had for 9 years, 7 years, 6 years. Great clients. I've had clients like Corey Mentor with Trinity Employment or Don Calvert with Score Basketball. I mean, I'm talking about 10-year clients, 8-year clients, 9-year clients. And a lot of the clients I've had for that long tell me, I save at least $2,000, $3,000 a month just because it's in my calendar to look at expenses. It's like it is so important that we decide to do this. Now, I'm going to share with the listeners all of the ways. This is from Dave Ramsey, and Dave Ramsey is a wonderful radio talk show host. He's a best-selling author, and he has his top 10 ways that Americans are wasting money. I'm going to go through those with you here, okay? So, 1, student loans. He writes, college graduates will pay back more than $35,000 each, according to the Wall Street Journal. Don't take the buy now, pay later approach to schooling. Go to a university you can afford. Apply for scholarships and work throughout the year. It is tough to graduate. He says, is it tough to graduate debt-free? Sure, but give it the old college try. Student loans. Jason, did you get any student loans?
Unfortunately, I did.
Were they sweet? Were they fun? Were they awesome?
Oh, they were so much fun, to the tune of $36,000 plus interest.
You're on the Dave Ramsey team here. You're fitting the average.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have gone to college in the first place, but no, he's right.
You got $36,000 of college debt?
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me tell you something about college. I remember college. I was going to Oral Roberts University, and I remember I was paying my way through college, and I had the thought, this school is like, roughly $22,000 a year to go there, which means it's $11,000 per semester, which means and I sat there and did the math in my class of what it cost me per class, like per actual 50-minute class, what it cost me to go to college. And when I finally got down to that number, I thought, this is not worth it. I have to get out of here. I don't think most people do that, though. I don't think, Jeff, I don't think the average person sits down and says, is college worth it? I don't think they do. I don't think people do that.
Absolutely not.
All right. So step 1, again, decide right now to automate your savings. Step 2, do it. Step 3, I only have 3 steps. Step 3, set a monthly time to look at your expenses. Because if you do not do it, You're not going to do it. You've got to set a set time, put it in your calendar, block out time, and freaking do it. It has to happen.
There's probably not an expense that you could ask me about, business or personal related, that I couldn't tell you right now.
You have to do it.
Yep.
Okay. Now, step 2, smartphone, or step 3. We can set a specific time to look at your expenses. But crazy expense number two here. This is from Dave Ramsey's top 10 things most Americans are wasting money on in 2016. Smartphone apps. People, I don't get it because I don't use apps. I do not use apps. But most people I know use apps.
Right.
And Jason, please explain to me how the purchasing of an app works. I've never bought an app. I'm never going to buy an app. You say you've never bought an app. No, I don't use apps. But somebody out there is using apps.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So depending on what, what operating system you're using. So if you're Apple or if you're Android, you're going to have an app store or like an online marketplace. So a little icon on your home screen, you press it, or in your app menu, boop, takes you to this massive thing. It's almost like Amazon for apps. And you click on the little magnifying glass and you type in whatever keyword you want. It brings up the list of those. A lot of them are free, but any of the ones that are, let's say, better, for lack of a better word, those are going to be the ones that have a price tag attached to them. And what's sneaky about those, kind of like with hidden cell phone taxes, is some of those are actually subscription fees. So there's like a one-time purchase, and then there's a recurring monthly purchase, and then there's also like in-app purchases. So I got stuck once. I'm not going to say their name, but they're a popular dictation software. And I was going through some SEO training, and I decided, you know what, I want to practice. And so I click on their thing, and it says it's $20 a month, but the first week is free.
Oh.
So I'm going through, and I used it for about 3 days, and I forgot I had the app because
you forgot you had the app.
It was hidden away in another folder. And so for about 3 months, I kept getting this $20 charge. I'm like, what the crap is that? And so I finally looked into it. I'm like, something dictation. Oh, son of a gun. And it took me forever to figure out how to, because like you can't just log on and unsubscribe. You have to go back through the app store, into your account, into your subscriptions, find the app, and then say, I don't want to use that anymore.
And again, Dave Ramsey's listing out the top 10 ways people are spending money that they don't know about. One is student loans.
Yep.
2, smartphone apps. People don't think about these things. They have them. I remember sitting with one client, and he had Ancestry.com. And Ancestry.com is an app or a program where you can go and get into the details and find out who you're related to.
Yep.
And who your grandmother was related to. And then it shows you this family tree, and you get to know your lineage, and you're going, wow. And I guess people before the reunion, maybe this is the time they want to find out all these things. And this guy had been paying for Ancestry.com for years.
Yep.
Years.
I'll go one further. One of the biggest expenses I've seen is anybody who has a tablet or a smartphone for their kid. A lot of kids will play games on those phones, and there's this sneaky thing that they do with in-app purchases. Like, oh, Jeff died on level 4. If Jeff wants to get to level 5 of Candy Crush, he'll pay 99 cents. And they'll just keep playing that game, and because the payment is worked in automatically, all the kid has to do is hit a button. I had one of my clients, I won't say who, but they had a kid charge, it was like $1,200 or $1,300 in Google Marketplace purchases for the same game.
How much?
It was like $1,200 or $1,300. So, of course, they call Google and say, hey, I need to get this refund. And I said, well, you verified the charges. Sir, it says on here that you accepted the charges. Why would I pay $1,200 as a grown man for these? Well, I don't know. We just assumed you liked the game. Well, my kid did it. I didn't give him permission. Well, sir, was the phone unlocked? Yeah. Was your card on it? Yeah. Well, then you authorize those purchases.
There it is.
So,
Jeff, why would somebody pay money to reserve the right to go to a building they never go to? Tell me that. Well, why would somebody? I mean, why would I say, how much is it? How much is it per month to come here? Well, sir, if you want to come here, it's going to be $40 a month. Okay, $40 a month to come here. I'll come here. I'll go. Sure, let's do it. And then why would I pay $40 a month and never go to a physical location? Why are most people paying money to go to a physical location that they never go to?
It's the same thought process that doesn't have them saving. It's the same thought process that doesn't have them looking at their bills. It's the fact that they have the intention to do so, or want the intention to do so, or has psyched themselves up to think that they have the intention to do so, and they do it.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna pay you, Jason, $40 a month every month to be able to go or this place. Okay, I got it. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I make a commitment. I will never go to the place. I mean, but that's what people are doing with gym memberships.
Right. And they get you just like the cell phones do. It's like, 4 lines for $100. I see it every, I'd say November leading into New Year's, because what just happened? Thanksgiving. So you're feeling real bad because you just ate a lot.
It's a new me.
Exactly.
It's a new me.
The new
It's a
year, new you.
New
First
me,
month,
me,
$3.
you.
And then they don't tell you that after that, the second month is $50 plus the was the activation fee, and then if you try to cancel, it's like, oh no, so you signed a 6-month contract.
No, and I got a guy, and if it's going to get me in the best shape of my entire life, I'm going to go there. We're going to work out every day. It's a new me, a new you, a new us, a new membership. Boom, and then they don't go.
Nope.
Okay, so again, step 1, recap. You got to decide to automate your savings. Step 2, you got to do it now. Within 72 hours, take action. 3, set a time to look for unneeded expenses and look at it every month. Coffee. Daily coffee. This is Dave Ramsey. This is the 4th top way that people are wasting money. Daily coffee. People love that daily coffee. They love going to Starbucks. Ooh,
true.
Shunda. They love going to Starbucks. Oh yeah, they love going to Quick Trip. We have like rituals we do as a society where every time we're like, well, to celebrate the fact that I woke up today, I'm going to go into Starbucks and make a $7 offering to the Starbucks god. I mean, this is what people do. It's like these habitual purchases. I know people that buy coffee every day at Starbucks and they don't even drink it. This is interesting.
That makes me mad.
They'll buy it and they'll set it down. They'll get into a conversation and they'll walk away.
Yeah.
I see this. It's habitual spending.
True.
It's a habit. Okay. Number 5, car payments. People spend a lot of money on car payments. Now, I don't think most people understand how car payments work.
Mm-mm.
Jason, how is it possible for someone to buy a car and to make payments for the car and then for the car to stop working while they still have payments they owe for the car? How is that possible?
Well,
84-month terms.
Exactly. So if you decide today that you want to go get a car and you don't have $30,000, you can go to any of the wonderful car dealerships out there, and they offer what's called financing.
Oh.
So you can get financing from the dealer, which is typically better, but most people won't qualify because their credit's not in a good place because they don't save. But so you can get financing from any of these third-party sources, and what they'll do is kind of like, I wish I could do that awesome Guido voice you do, and they'll be like, so what we can do for you today?
Boom.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna do for you, sweetheart. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna do what I normally don't do. I'm gonna do what I do.
Right.
And I'm gonna and they act like they have billions of dollars to lend, like they are a benevolent lender. Yeah. And I'm gonna move the terms back for you. I'm gonna give you 74 months.
74 months.
No, I'm gonna do 84 because that works out better. So I got 84. Jeff, for you because you're a great guy. I'm gonna give you 120 months. No money down, no payments at all for the first 3 months. It's unbelievable. It's boom. It's 120 months. I mean, think about that. Your payments are so low. It's like they're so low, like Han. You know what I'm saying? Like Han Solo. It's like boom, ha ha. But people do that though.
Yep. Sure.
Do they not?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How? I mean, have you seen people? Have you ever heard about people with car payments that are 84 months? Have you seen this?
So right now in our town, there's a car dealership that is advertising 84 months.
84 months.
First three months free, or first 3 months no payments.
That's 7 years, folks.
I went in to get one of our vans, and he comes in, and I was going to be 48 months. And he said, hey, would you like this extended warranty? I said, no, not really. He said, it won't change your monthly payment. I was like, oh, well, if you're just going to throw it in for free, I guess so. And when we got the signing, it had gone to 60 months. That's why the payment hadn't changed. They just extended another 2 years onto the end of it. I was like, oh, no. I'm only paying the amount that I said I was going to pay. But they will get you.
Okay, now think about this. Jason, I went out and I bought a car. I think 4 weeks ago. No, it was maybe, I guess because it was before the quarantine crazy. Yeah. So probably maybe 2 months ago. 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I bought the Volvo. Have I told you how much I spent on the Volvo?
You did, and it blew my mind because it was so low. I want to say it wasn't even in the double digits.
$6,100.
What the crap? And it's a beautiful Volvo.
Did you pay with a brown paper bag for that? That's
I did. I brought a big bag
Got
of
a
cash
discount.
I went around the back. I found a guy named Sneaks, and I sneaks you there. Here's the brown bag. Boom. No, but seriously, just I bought the car for $6,100, and you know why I did it? Because it's paid for, and because I have the habit of saving money, and because I am not buying things I don't need to impress people I don't know. Again, I am not buying things I don't need to impress people I don't know. Jason, why would anybody out there with a sound mind buy things that they don't need to impress people they don't know?
Because it's all about that clout, baby. You got to just have that swagger, and that swagger just happens to come from possessions. I have these expensive things, which means they're high value, which makes me high value.
It's so funny, but I bought my Hummer in large part via a trade out. And I had that car forever. I did sales training with a company. Part of the deal was I got a big trade out, so I got the Hummer.
Nice.
Drove the Hummer. Now, let me tell you the benefits of driving a Hummer. Let me tell you, there's like 4 or 5 core benefits. 1, terrible gas mileage. Terrible.
True.
2, almost no room in the vehicle to haul anything.
I was surprised at how small the interior
There's
was.
more room in a Ford Taurus in the trunk of that than there is in a Hummer. 3, almost no horsepower. 4, almost no acceleration. 5, it looks cool. There's no real benefit to it.
True.
So I had the ability to get one, so I thought, let's get one. But it's just kind of a fun vehicle, and it was good for marketing. But when I got rid of it, so many people are saying to me, "What happened to the Hummer? What happened? What happened? What happened to Hummer? Where's the Hummer? Where's it?" And it's almost like the Hummer defined me to them. And I'm driving a Volvo, and they're like, "Oh, you're driving a Volvo? Is that your sister's car? Is that your sister? Is she driving the safe Volvo?" No, I'm like, I don't have a sister. Where is it? Because it's people buy cars to impress people they don't know. Now, I don't have a problem if you're out there buying a car. You can buy a car, buy a nice car, get a Lamborghini, get a Porsche, get a whatever. It's fine. But be able to afford it. Jeff, I see people that do this. I see in the poorest communities in the world, people buying incredibly expensive smartphones to wow people.
Absolutely.
I see in the poorest communities, I see people buying Gucci bags to impress people. I see people buying Yeezy shoes in like super poor communities. I see people buying $400 shoes. What is going on with this desire we have as a culture to buy crap we do not need to impress people we do not know? I mean, we don't even know the people. Why are we doing this? What is the deal?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what Jason just touched on. It's a little bit of defining who we are. I mean, we have to, if we're not important, we feel important by having the things that important people have.
And again, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to tell listeners out there that don't know me very well. Let me tell you what I do. I go into Walmart. And at Walmart, you can buy and one shorts. Here's a little life tip for you. You can buy and one shorts. And they're like $10 for and one shorts. They might be 15 right now. I don't know. They're $10. Then I have 5 jerseys made of the same jerseys, and I have 5 jerseys. And then I buy shirts from the brand we can all trust called George. And I buy these shirts. They're like $6 from Walmart. So I got $6 shirts. I got my and one shorts. I wear a jersey that I had custom produced. They're about $200 a piece. And then I have hats that say the word boom on it. Another hat might say boom on it. Maybe a different hat might say Make America Boom Again. Maybe a different hat says boom on it.
Is there a theme?
But when I used to, and before I dressed like this, I used to wear a suit with a white shirt and a red tie. Went out and bought 5 of the exact same suits, bought 5 white undershirts, bought 5 red ties. Boom, 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 boom. Wear the same thing every day. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on clothes, but people do. People spend a ton of money on clothes trying to impress people they don't know with their clothes. I just want to know. I want to get into the psychology of this. Jason, why? What is going on? Why are people even having the thought of, have I worn that before? I can't see, Jeff. If I've already worn that once, I don't want to wear it. I mean, people have these thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear the same thing. I see Jeff every week. Right. I don't want to wear the same thing every time I see him. Why?
Well, people right now, there are things known as influencers online. And basically, I have no idea where this came from. It was just a thing one day, and I started noticing it more and more when I started working for you, because I'd coach clients like, yeah, I really want to get in front of some influencers to help get my product out there. And I thought, what the F is an influencer? So you look into it, it's basically somebody who doesn't quite have the credentials to be your life coach, but they can tell you what to buy. And people will go to them because they're really good at saying, hey, you should buy this, which increases that product sales. But right now we live in a society where there are so many influencers, and they have all of these different ways of, being, where they say, hey, you should live your life this way. If you're young and you're free, you should go ahead and make that purchase. And if you don't want to wear that outfit more than once, you don't need to, because you're unique. So you should have something unique every single day. A lot of it also comes from media. Like, I'm kind of jealous that you guys all grew up with musicians before they were all about, this is what I own and this is what I have, therefore I have value. Now we have a lot of new music where people will get immediately signed to a label, talk about how much money they made from being signed to that label, and then not even tell you, oh, by the way, dude, I don't have as much money as you think I have. That car is leased. That necklace is leased. These shoes are on loan from the company in order to raise their sales. But people buy into it because, like Jeff was saying, and like I said earlier, because the people they look up to have all these things and they don't, they want to get as close to them as possible. And then the same people who are driving their purchases are spending so frivolously or changing their minds so, immediately, they're doing the same thing.
So there's 10 ways that most people are wasting money, and you're not going to discover these 10 if you don't look at your bills at the same time every single month. You got to put it into your calendar. Right. We talked about student loans. We talked about smartphone apps. We've talked about gym memberships. We've talked about daily coffee trips. Now we're going to talk about car payments and then lease payments. Lease payments, car lease payments. Jeff, I'm not ripping on the idea of leasing a car. I'm not ripping on that. I'm not ripping on the idea of buying a car. But if you lease a car, how could somebody spend more money on the car lease than maybe they thought they were going to spend? How is that possible? If you lease a car, how could you possibly have expenses associated with the lease that you weren't aware of? Because when you leased the car, you thought it's only $299 a month, baby. Woo! I mean, how could it possibly be where somebody's spending more money on their car lease than what they know about?
Yeah, for sure. So there's generally restrictions inside of all leases. And not only is there a restriction, there's like a mileage restriction. So if you weren't told about that mileage restriction and you end up, doing 14, 15, 16,000 miles in the year, you have now gone over your allotted 10,000 miles or 8,000 miles that you had that you didn't even know about.
So you could go past the allotted amount of miles that you're allowed to go on the lease. So you pay for the car lease, and when you pay for the car lease, it says it's this much per month. It's $299 per month, but you can only drive 10,000 miles a year. But if you go above the allotted number of miles that are in the lease, then you pay a penalty.
Correct.
For every mile that you go above that. Right?
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
all of a sudden you get a big bill. All right? So point 8, car wash upgrades. Dave Ramsey reports here people are wasting money on car washes.
It's kind of funny to me.
It is, but this is Dave Ramsey. He says these are the 10 ways that most humans are wasting money. Car wash upgrades. I see people like this. I do. I see people all the time. They get their car washed constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. I'm not ripping on the idea of washing your car, but we're talking about how to get ahead financially here. Yeah. Jason, is there something else that you've seen people waste money on where you say to yourself, how is it possible that you who has no money is spending money on this? Have you ever seen poor people and you thought to yourself, how is it possible that you're spending so much money on this?
Oh, yeah.
What are areas where you see people wasting money consistently?
I'm going to get into that in just a second, because the car wash thing, I have to give a shout out to my neighbor across the street. Oh, yeah. His name is, what is it? It's so hard to pronounce. He's Venezuelan. He lives here now. Oh, but nicest guy. Homeboy is so proud of his 2004 Honda Element. He washes it every day by hand, spending
baby.
No money at the car wash in his driveway.
He washes it by hand?
7 days a week.
It's a Honda?
Yeah.
That sounds like a workout routine.
Remember the cube? They look like an ice box.
Yeah,
almost like a Yeti.
Wax on.
Wax
off.
Yeah, maybe he's a martial artist.
Are you serious? He washes it every day?
Every single day. I've never ever seen him I don't see him out and about, but he's out there in his driveway every day, rain or shine.
Yeah.
Especially after the rain. But so he's saving money, so shout out to that guy. But no, I've seen people, one of the most egregious expenses I've seen is I have a lot of musician friends.
Yeah.
And they'll pay stupid amounts of money on gear and never use it.
Expensive gear they never use?
Yeah,
why would somebody buy microphones and speakers and adapters and guitars and things they don't use. Why would we do that?
It's that identity thing. Like I've known guitarists who are really good guitarists, and they'll have do you know what a pedal board is? Basically like a customizable board.
Yeah.
On the ground, you have your different effects pedals. So he's like, I'm going to buy this one. That's a looper. That cost me $800. And what it does, the only thing is it will play back that specific riff you did. And that feeds into this, and it's going to change how it sounds. And this is going to affect the reverb. And I kid you not, I knew a guy, he had a $4,000 pedal board.
Oh, sweet.
He is not a recording artist, nor has he sold any type of... He hasn't sold any music whatsoever. Like he's got a day job, a regular day job. It's like the example you gave of people who make $12 an hour and spend 18 of it on lunch. Same thing.
Would you mind if I open a nice nice glass here? Nice. I guess I'm going to open a beverage here.
Do it.
And it's called Jackassery. Let me just have it. Let me just take a sip of Jackassery. Let me try to get it. Oh yeah. Let me take a nice sip. Here we go. The taste of Jackassery.
The ASMR on that was great.
I want all the listeners to think about this for a second. All of us, Jeff, all of us are taking nice sips of Jackassery. Every loose little sips, we're just going, well, old Jackassery never hurt me, right? Tastes good. And we all just do little sips of Jackassery.
Yeah.
And I'm not ripping on you if you do this, but you got to look at your bills every month. You've got to do it, because if you don't do it, you drift. You don't drift to success. You drift to losing it all.
Yep. Satellite TV.
You drift. Do we not drift though?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Satellite TV.
Yeah.
Tell me because we're I'm trying to help the listeners brainstorm all the ways people are wasting money. You said satellite TV.
Yeah. So we did a lot of work at one point in time with a coalition called Bridges Out of Poverty.
Bridges Out of Poverty?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it would dig into the difference between how poor people see money and spend money to middle class to high class.
Okay.
And so it was just interesting. But one of the items that we saw a lot of in that low class section was high-end smartphones, cars, satellite TV, and they all had multiple dogs.
Multiple dogs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you serious?
So now you're, food, for dogs, and you start getting into a lot of spending that takes place when you don't have it to spend.
Oh yeah.
That's actually about a third of our business is people with lots of dogs.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And
Dogs get the carpet
and
dirty.
you are a carpet cleaner.
Oh yeah.
Tell the listeners out there what's the name of your company? What's your web address?
It is Complete Carpet, and the web address is CompleteCarpetTulsa.com.
So you would agree that people spend a lot of money on cleaning their houses as a result of their dog?
Yes, and one of the things I've saw.
I can't handle
seen-
dogs. And listen. I'm an investor and owner in a dog trading company, and there's a lot of people that love dogs. But I will tell you, I don't get it. Like I cannot get it.
Mm-hmm.
I want. Part of me says I want to get it. I can't get it.
No.
People were really pushing me, Clay. You need to get Great Pyrenees to protect your chickens. And I said, Great Pyrenees to protect the chickens? Because we had some animals eating the chickens. And so I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to look into it. I had those dogs for probably a month. And I thought to myself, what a horrible life. This is a horrible life. So I gave them to Dr. Z because I cannot stand being around dogs. But I'm sure other people can. I like to visit other people's dogs. One of my buddies has a huge Mastiff, big dog. I'll pet the dog.
It's my dream dog.
Pet the dog. But I'm like a grandparent where I want to spoil the kid and then leave.
Yeah.
I'm with the dog. I'll pet the dog.
You're the fun uncle.
Yeah, I'll show up and I'm like, oh, come here. Let me pet the dog. And I'll do I'll get the little dog. Oh, he's awesome. I'll give the dog a hug, but then I'm out. I can't, the idea of maintaining the dog. I just know myself, and I know I'm not going to. Other ways people waste money. This is from Dave Ramsey's list. Way number 8 that the average person is wasting money. Lottery tickets.
That's a poor tax.
Lottery tickets. The poor tax. It's where you fight. Well, you can't win unless you play. You can't win unless you play, right? And then you go. I think you have an addiction there, Carl.
Oh yeah,
Carl. I think you have an addiction. No, I don't. I just give me $40. Just let me do 40, and you're like, Carl, you do 40 a week. That's $2,000 a year, my friend.
Then they win 10 and they tell everybody about it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Oh man, last night at the casino, I was killing it. Won $80. Carl, you spend 40 every week.
Oh yeah. But no, seriously, I think that it should be lottery tickets / gambling, because I am all for if you want to go to the casino to have like a fun night, right? There's a lot of things to do there. Yeah. I have been to River Spirit a lot because my brother, when he was fighting, that's where he would fight. That's a lot of his fight cards were there. They have a really good event center. But then afterwards, my family was always, really into, let's go, play a game.
Let's go play the games. It's awesome.
I refuse to put money into something that's not certain. And most people who are addicts will say, well, that just means you're not good enough at it. I put money into it because I know I'm going to get something out of it. No, you don't.
What could what kind of strategy would you have? What I do? I've heard people say this. Seriously, I've seen people say this. I had a guy from college I used to hang out with, and this is what he would say. He would say, you got to work the room. Mm-hmm. Because there's certain machines that are loose. And I'm like, loose? Like, what do you mean loose? Like, there are certain slot machines that are loose.
That sounds terrible.
No, but listen, you've heard.
That's not right.
Jason, have you heard this?
Oh, absolutely.
No.
People
they have a loose slot. That's not good. This is not good.
That's jackassery.
Have you heard this?
I've heard it. That's the sad thing, though, is I've heard it far too many times.
No, they say it though. Like, there's certain ones. If you work the room. Mm-hmm. There are certain slots.
Are they talking about machines? This doesn't sound like they're talking about machines.
Well, it's at a casino, Nathan. You have no idea.
No, I want to make sure that people say this, though.
They advertise it in Vegas.
Yeah.
Loosest slots.
And then what happens is, though, they'll walk around. I'm not kidding. This guy used to walk around, and I'm like, what are you doing? And there's like a machine that has like Dolly Parton on it, I think. There's one, there's a machine that had like Britney Spears on it. Mm. And there's like a Jurassic Park theme. And then there's one that's like, there's always different themes.
Right.
They're usually like movie themes. There's like Indiana Jones theme.
Wheel of
Fortune theme. And then every machine, you walk up to the machine, you put in a quarter, you put in $1, you put in 10 cents, you put in a penny, you put in $5, whatever the number is. You put in the money. And what you do, here's the pro tip, folks. You pull back the lever.
Yeah.
And it goes, or you hit the button. And he goes, ding, 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 and you see it's like a digital thing. It looks like things are trying to align. There's usually 3 numbers that try to align, or 5 numbers, and they're spinning. And then I didn't win. Well, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how this is fun.
Yeah.
I don't get where this is fun, but it's like ding, 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 and then the casinos realized if we can allow people to use their credit card at the casino, then they'll just keep spending. So now you walk up to the casino guy, and you say, hey, casino guy, here's the deal. I want to use my credit card here. I want to sign up, and then I want to get $500 on it or $100 on it or whatever. And people play all night. Now around once you've been playing for about 10 minutes, I went to a John Legend concert with my wife in Thackerville to go see John at the world's largest casino. They call it the world's largest casino, but it's not. Have you seen this thing in Thackerville? Have you guys seen this casino? Jason, have you seen this casino?
No, I don't even think I've been to Thackerville.
Whatever, dude. Let me pull it up here. World's largest casino. And it's not the world's largest, but they call it that. Here it is. It's called the WinStar World Casino, found in Thackerville, Oklahoma.
Oh, no.
About an hour south of Oklahoma City and 1 hour north of Dallas, the WinStar World Casino is the largest casino in the world. It has more than 600,000 square feet of gambling. I don't understand how it's the largest in the world because I've been there and it doesn't feel like it's awesome.
Yeah, but definitely does not look like the Bellagio.
It has like a veneer that's kind of interesting, but you go there to Thackerville, and I went to see John Legend, and my wife, goes to the restroom, and I thought what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look around this place and see what's going on. And I'm watching people, and this is what happens is if you go there and you play for a while, all of a sudden people show up and they say, "Hi, sir. Jeff is. How are you doing tonight, sir? Are you doing good? Hi, sir, do you want a drink?" Now, why would they offer free drinks to people that are playing the ding 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 ding? Well, people who are playing this game, the game that requires no strategy. There's no strategy. You just hit the button and walk around, work in the room to find the loosest slots. Why would they offer you, Jeff, free adult beverages if you are playing the games?
Because they want you to continue, because they know you're going to lose.
And on top of that, it's like that unattractive guy who has like no charm is the first person at the bar. "Hey, miss, let me buy you a drink." Getting those inhibitions low because she might say, "Hey, you know what? Whatever."
And why
beer goggles.
And why
do they have attractive women as a general rule, Jason, who are offering the free adult beverages?
In Dackerville?
Because we as men are dumb as hell, and if you're sitting there, you're already dumb. If you're sitting down in the slot machine, you've been playing for 10 minutes. But if some just very attractive woman walks up and offers you a free beverage, you're like, oh, I'm the man. Oh, I should stay here. If I stay here long enough, maybe 2 of them will come over. Maybe I'll get another drink.
Well, I want to give a shout out to WinStar on one side though. They are killing it on the Google reviews game. They've got over 33,000 5-star reviews. I mean,
they have
a lot of adult beverages, and then hey, will you give me a review?
They almost have. It's like a Gestapo or like a military police of reviews there. By the way,
that's insane.
So I go there to watch John Legend, and I'm not kidding. There's so much smoke in the air.
Oh yeah,
I'm feeling really, really, really. I mean, it's like I can't even breathe. I'm getting like emphysema, and I've been there for like a few minutes. My wife goes to the restroom, and I'm just watching people.
Yeah.
And people are just playing, and I see people that are paying who are playing the game who are not wealthy. I mean, they're I don't see now on the billboards. There's beautiful people on the billboards,
right? And the commercials too.
There's attractive men, attractive women, young people. All I see is old people who have like oxygen tanks,
still smoking though,
still smoking
through the stoma.
I mean, I see people that are there who are broke. I see people that are poor. I don't see the people on the billboards playing the games.
No.
It's almost like the people who are on the billboards aren't allowed to come to Thackerville. Seriously, it's crazy. But again, why am I talking about this? I'm trying to help somebody go, oh, yes, that's me. That's what I'm wasting money on. Okay, so again, Dave Ramsey says lottery tickets and gambling is reason number 8 that way number 8 that a lot of people are wasting their money. Now, number 9, timeshares. Can you explain what a timeshare is, Jeff? What is a timeshare, and why do you laugh when you even hear the word timeshare?
Oh, my goodness.
Please educate me, because I still don't know what a timeshare is. I don't get how they work.
So somebody builds a nice-looking 1,000-room facility overlooking this gorgeous pool in this wonderful resort area, and they sell out each week of each room to an individual. So you own a week in your room every year.
So 2%.
Yes. And so for a timeshare, and then you wonderfully pay a maintenance fee at the end of the year. So you pay that maintenance fee anywhere, generally from $1,000 to $1,800, depending on where you bought your timeshare at and how new it is. But you'll pay that maintenance fee every year, whether you go or not and use your week.
Okay.
And then you'll pay your $20,000 or whatever to buy your week.
And this is how they pitch it. If you walk the streets of Las Vegas, you're going to Las Vegas, and you're walking down the road, walking down the street, there's people everywhere, and you're in front of Caesar's Palace. There's a good energy in the air. In Vegas, you're allowed to drink adult beverages while walking the streets. Most people are just walking the streets or having a good old time.
Looking for those loose slots.
Looking for the loose slots.
or something loose.
And then a person will pass you by, and they'll say, sir, you want to see a free show? You want to see a free show? You want to see a free show? Free show. And you go, well, what do you got? And your spirit man says, don't talk to him. Don't do it. But then your flesh man says,
but your budget man.
Right. So your sane part of your brain says, don't do it. But the party part of you, the bougie part of you, the spontaneous part of you that just likes to do things says, what kind of show? And they say, well, Celine Dion. You say, Celine Dion, like my heart will go on. Celine Dion, like Titanic, like, are you serious? And they say, yes. Perhaps the best vocalist of the 90s, which was 30 years ago. Is here, and she is here, and we've got a few tickets left, and if you want to see her perform tomorrow, you can, and all you have to do is take a quick 30-minute tour of our newest property that's being constructed right here off the strip. It's beautiful, and you're going, well, I don't know. And they go, it's just 30 minutes, and we're throwing in a free buffet, and you go, a free buffet? And they said, free buffet? Free, is it how free is it? It's 100% free. Oh, woo! So you now come back. Your wife's been shopping or walking around the M&M store or some store. She's in Margaritaville store buying a shirt. Your wife's having a good time on the strip. She went into the Caesar's Palace, and maybe she's looking at purses, and you find her and you say, "Babe, I've scored a deal." She says, "What's the deal?" "Oof, got us free tickets to see Celine Dion. We're gonna be sitting in row 506, and it's beautiful. We'll be able to see her. We'll be able to see her. We'll know it's her. We're so far away, we'll know it's her because of the big screen, but we can't really know it's her. But we're row 506. It's incredible, and we're getting a free buffet, free crab legs. Come on now." She said, "Well, what do we have to do?" You said, we just have to do a quick 30-minute timeshare." So the next morning, you get up early. She gets up early. You brush your teeth. You get all dressed up. You dress up kind of nice because you're going on a date. And there's a shuttle that picks you up. And you're feeling good because it's a nice shuttle. It's a beautiful shuttle. It's got leather interior. It's air-conditioned, climate-controlled. They pick you up, and you're in what I call the sucker bus.
Oh, yeah.
And on the sucker bus, they say, "Folks, we're going to be driving here. It'll be about a 10-minute drive to our new featured property, our deluxe, our exclusive new property, where it's beautiful and property. Would you guys like an adult beverage?" And you're going, "Well, based on the fact that it's 10 a.m. and I'm in Vegas, sure."
Absolutely.
So now you've had an adult beverage, and they get you off. The bus stops, and they say, "Folks, feel free to exit the bus here, the shuttle, and your tour guides will be with you." They call them tour guides. I call them shameless salespeople.
Oh, yeah.
But the tour guide says, "Well, guys, we're gonna take a gander here on our beautiful property. We're gonna break up into groups of two, so you two will be with one tour guide. You two will be with one tour guide." So they break you up into groups, and then the truthiness begins. The truthiness, and the sales guy will say stuff. And have you ever been on a timeshare tour before, there, Jeff?
Twice.
Oh yeah. This is what the guy will say. He'll say, "Folks, you'll notice this property here, beautiful." He's just talking to two people. This beautiful, pristine property is one of the most exclusive resorts that's been erected here on the Strip for some time. And in fact, we have several celebrities that have already secured rooms, apartments, condos in this deluxe property. We have several big-name celebrities. So you go, "Oh my gosh, wow." So you're thinking, well, if a big-time celebrity did it, then I should maybe. And then they say things that are kind of true. There's either absolute truth or there's a lie, but they do truthiness. Mm-hmm. So they say, "We've had several prominent celebrities that have already secured." Now, I'm not allowed to disclose who they are,
Of course.
because of the relationship. I cannot divulge because of the relationship I have with these people. It could totally be lost if I were to share even slight details of who they are. However, I can tell you, just across the street, Boys to Men sold. They have a condo over there, and so does Celine Dion, just across the street. Now, but you kind of, in your mind, you wanted to hear that Celine Dion also has a condo here. But what they said was that several prominent celebrities have purchased condos here. And just across the way.
Here, meaning Vegas.
Right. And you are like, "Oh my gosh, several prominent celebrities." And then they say, "Now, folks, the world's wealthiest people all invested in one thing. If you look at the wealthiest people, you look at the Rockefeller, you look at if you guys read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I glimpsed at that." They say all the world's wealthiest people. If you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you're like, "Well, yeah, kind of." Well, now here's the deal: they've all invested in real estate because the one thing we can't make more of on this beautiful planet is more earth. Mm-hmm. And you're going, "It kind of makes sense." And then they go, "Do you know when the first casino was erected here? The first casino was built here for only $10,000. Now, a lot of people say it was the mob and it was the Rat Pack and early people that teamed, but they built Vegas, but the first building was erected for $10,000. And you know that today, folks, that same piece of real estate that was put into the ground, that same property that was built for $10,000 70 years ago is now worth $20 million.
Oh, wow.
And you're going, "Oh my gosh, I have found the secret." And you want to believe it, Jeff. And it's truthiness, because what he doesn't share with you is there was a piece of dirt where a casino was erected 70 years ago. And on that piece of dirt, they completely bulldozed the building, and they've built like the Aria, or they've built Caesar's Palace, or they've built Trump, or they've built some big tower there. But you want your dirty inner get rich quick man, the bad you, wants to believe that celebrities live there, and that you could make an insane amount of money by buying the real estate, and they start to wear you down. They wear you down. And how long was your tour?
Well, either one of them lasted more than 4 hours.
So you got the Gilligan's Isle tour.
Oh, and both of them started out to be 30-minute to an hour tour.
Yes.
Where I had to actually fight one of them, send my kids and my wife to the car so I could get my driver's license back so I could leave.
How long did it take again?
Over 4 hours.
I think that a lot of people think it's going to be just a 30-minute tour because they say it's going to be.
Right.
But I'm not kidding. My wife and I did it, and it was hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was 4 hours. It could have been longer. It could have been. But they start to, and they work on you.
Well, they start to guilt you.
Yep.
I mean, they'll start hammering you with the sales pitch, like, "Oh, so your kids aren't important enough,
right,
for you to." I mean, they just start coming at you in every way possible.
Now, have you guys ever seen the movie Queen of Versailles? Have you seen this movie? It is a phenomenal movie, and it's a movie that was shot. It's an American documentary that was shot in 2012 by this lady by the name of Lauren Greenfield, and in the film they depict. These guys were the owners of the Westgate Resorts. They're the number one timeshare salespeople of all time. And it is an awesome documentary because you get to see the most shameless timeshare pitches of all time. And I just remember with mine, they go through it. And in the movie, they talk about this. But my guy, he says this to me. He goes, because now they pull you aside. After they've been giving you beverages, they've been serving you meals. They've been giving, I mean, they pamper you. They say, guys, the tour, I remember this. The guy says, no, folks, the tour should be a half hour. However, our previous tours run a little bit long. They're buyers, they're buyers, and they're buying what someone wants to buy. I mean, we don't want to turn them down, and it's only about 15 shares left, 15 availabilities left, and they're a buyer. So we're going to let you guys, if it's okay, you guys want to go by the pool. We're doing a couples massage. You guys want to do free couples massage? And then, so you're like, I guess I'll do a couples massage. And you're there for like hours.
Yeah.
And then they come back now and they say, this, and they break you into groups. So now a salesperson's talking to your wife alone, and now a salesperson's talking to you. And I remember my guy, he says this to me. He says, again, I'm paraphrasing. It's been a long time. But he says, sir, do you care about your wife? What kind of question is that? He says, do you care about your wife? I say, yeah, I do. He says, it's good. You look like the kind of guy that cares about his wife. I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, well, and sir, men that don't vacation have been shown to die more often. I'm going, really? He's like, yeah, research. And they always have laminated documents they show you. There are always these laminated documents that's like the cover of a Time magazine is like on it. It's laminated. And on the back, it's like, they write on it with a Sharpie, or they write on it with not a Sharpie, but like a dry erase marker.
Yeah.
And they write things. So they'll put like, it's weird, but they write on it while they're telling you. They're like, sir, right here, men that do not travel live less long. And they show it to you, and you're like, wow, you just wrote that with a dry erase. And I don't get it. And they go, now also, sir, is the world's wealthiest people made how did the world's wealthiest people make their money, sir? And you're like, real estate? Yeah, good. See, sir, you look like an investor. You're a businessman. You look like a businessman. Now, the third thing is you probably right now are feeling like you could be duped, and because most people are wrong, that's why most people aren't successful, because most people don't see opportunities, sir. This is going to seem like it's not a good decision.
Yep.
But it's a great decision, which is why it feels wrong. And you're like, it does feel wrong. I mean, serious. And they soften the meat. They play these games all day, and eventually they get you. And somebody out there listening right now, they got you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And so again, I'm mentioning these things because I want our listeners to do well financially.
Right.
All right. So you want to think today. Do I have a timeshare? If you do, try to get out of that thing. Okay. Yeah. If you're buying lottery tickets, stop. Car washing, car leases, car payments, coffee, gym membership, smartphones, student loans. Pro tip, this is way number 10 that the average person is wasting money. Shipping charges.
Oh, yeah.
Shipping. I see people shipping a lot of things. Shipping this, shipping that, ship. People are buying online. They don't factor in the shipping costs. I see it all the time. I don't buy a lot of stuff online, but a lot of my clients will say, I'm shipping in ink to save money on ink for the printers. I'm shipping in toner to save money on the toner.
I've seen people who have started shipping their pants.
Oh, no.
Now, let's talk about this for a second, though. Shipping fees. Jason, have you ever bought something online and realized, man, the shipping and handling was almost as much as the thing?
My new thing is if I don't agree with the shipping charges, I just do not get it. Because I've had in the past, I'm trying to think of what was the worst one. Supplements I bought. Had a great deal on the supplements themselves, but the shipping was almost like a fourth of what the actual supplement was, which is ridiculous. I understand it has to get to me. Somebody has to be paid in order to package it and send it to me so I don't have to go get it myself. But yeah, I've been hit with some, and that's one of the things that makes me buy less frequently online. Because I will always, like if I go to Amazon, I look, 1, isn't Amazon Prime available? So can I get it fast? 2, does that play into how much I'm going to be charged to ship it? And if it's anything over, let's just say like $10,
yep,
I skip it.
So core idea, I want to make sure we're getting this. Save now or beg later. Save now or beg later. And there's 3 steps. There's 3 steps to getting ahead here. 1, decide right now to automate your savings. True. All right. Step 2, do it. Within the next 72 hours, find a way to automate your savings. If you own a business, just find a way to automate your savings. Do it where it's an automatic thing. When you if you pay yourself via paychecks, like my wife and I, we get a check from paychecks. We pay ourselves through payroll, and we just automatically save money. We just tell them, hey, we want this percentage of money going here. We just do it. You got to do it. And then 3 is look for unneeded expenses every month. Schedule a time to look for unneeded expenses. You have to do it. Now, Jeff, if somebody out there is listening today and they say, I want to save money on my cell phone bill, you claim that you can save people a lot of money. And it appears as though this past week you've been bombarded by people looking to save money. This past month, how many new clients have you brought on in the last 60 days?
Last 30 days alone has been over 12,000.
Really?
Correct.
Ooh. And how do people reach out to you? How does that process work?
They either hit us at www.boom.us and we just sit and chat with them and go over their bill, or they call at 800-767-5599.
So it's www.what?
Boom.us.
Okay.
Or 800-767-5599.
Okay. So that there it is right there.
For sure.
But if you're out there today and you want to save money, again, I want to make sure, full disclosure out there, folks, I do not endorse or not endorse Boom Mobile. I want you to check it out, see if it's the right fit for you and your family. But I don't want you to just listen to this show and do nothing. I don't want it to be entertainment. I don't want it to be another example. This is from the book The Automatic Millionaire, the author David Bach, who we've had on the show multiple times. He says, remember, inspiration unused is merely entertainment. To get new results, you need to take new actions. So I'm asking you right now, are you going to automate your savings? Decide to automate your savings. Step 2, do it. You've got to do it within the next 72 hours. You must take action. And 3, schedule a time to look for unneeded expenses to cut and put it in your calendar. If you don't do it, you're going to just year by year, month by month, money's going to be drifting away.
Yep.
It's going to happen. And with this Corona shutdown, I can't stand the Corona shutdown. It makes me crazy. I don't like that it infringes upon your First Amendment right to peaceably assemble. I do not like that all of the science goes against the idea of even having a quarantine. I do not like the shutdown. I can get into a lot of specifics as to why I do not. But I can tell you with the shutdown, I have never freaked out about the financial aspects of the shutdown because I save money. But what if you don't save money? According to Forbes, the average American, 78% of Americans are check to check. Does that shock you, Nathan, that the average American is check to check?
No, it's a very unfortunate stat. And honestly, if you can get on the other side of this, the businesses that survive the Corona shutdown are going to be the business that we're saving. And so you can quickly look and see what are the businesses I want to model my business after and see how they did through this.
Yep.
It's just don't get yourself in a bad situation as a result of choosing not to save money. And now, without any further ado, we like to end each and every show with a boom. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Well, folks, we just did a great podcast on how to manage the finances of your business. And one way to manage your finances is to cut expenses. And I've discovered that this year, many of our listeners have reported that their insurance rates are going up. And here to talk about it is Adam Stockdahl with Goosehead Insurance. How are you, sir?
Morning, Clay. Doing awesome today.
So I got to ask you, tell me, what is Goosehead Insurance? What's the company? What makes it different from other insurance companies?
So Goosehead Insurance is the #1 largest insurance broker in the state of Texas, licensed in all 50 states. What that means is we don't work for an insurance company. We work for our customers. Say you see an insurance company on TV, no commercial. They got a catchy little jingle. All right, you're interested. You call in. Whoever answers the phone, it is their job to sell you that insurance, okay? They are working for that company to sell you that insurance. We are not beholden to any insurance company. We work for you. We shop with 39 different carriers to make sure that we're getting the best fit for you. So we're not looking for the cheapest insurance. That's not necessarily the best deal, but we're looking at the best fit for you at the right price.
How long does it take if somebody goes right now? I'll put the URL on the show notes, or if they text you. How long does it take to compare rates and see if they can save some money?
Well, Clay, on our URL, we actually have proprietary software that allows the customer to input some information, and it will shop our 39 carriers and retrieve some baseline quotes. So they can do it themselves in 2 minutes and even see if it's worth considering. Sometimes it's not. Most of the time it is.
Why are insurance rates going up? For people out there that say, I don't understand. I pay my bills on time. I don't get in auto accidents. I am not a big risk. Why are insurance rates going up?
Yeah, that's a great question, Clay. One thing I see, I talk to people all day, every day about this. One thing I see that I don't really understand is some people, they have a lot of more or less loyalty to an insurance company. Okay, so there's a lot of great things to be loyal to. You've got your family, you got your country, right? Great things to be loyal to. Insurance companies pretty far down on the list. So people are getting these premium hikes. They're saying, hey, I haven't had any accidents. I haven't had any claims. I've been with this place for 10 years. Why am I going up 20, 30%? So they're starting to see that loyalty. They had that brand loyalty only really went one way. So the main drivers behind this is, one, it's just more expensive to replace stuff now. A lot of people's home values went up quite a bit over the past couple of years. So that means the home is going to be more expensive to replace should something happen to it. Same with cars. You've seen used car prices up 30, 40%. So insurance markets are catching up to that premium change.
So final question I have here for you is, what's the best way that you want people to get a hold of you? If people are listening right now and they say, oh, yeah, I'll take 5 minutes. I'll see if I can save some money. What's the process? What's the steps?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one step, right? You can either go to the website, click there, and you just fill out some basic info. It'll give you quotes right there. There's no like, I have to call you back later and 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, right? You're going to get that information right then. Or you can just call or text in. So you do that stuff. You either go to the website or you can call and text in. And that phone number is 817-720-0461.
And what states do you service?
Every state.
Okay, so you service all the states. And again, that phone number is 817-720-0461, 817-720-0461. Again, that's 817-720-0461. Adam, I'm going to give you the final word. What do you want to say to everybody out there? I've known you for a long time. You're a diligent entrepreneur. You're a great guy. What do you want to say to everybody out there who's probably would rather go to the dentist than to talk to somebody about insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. Going to the dentist is not something that most people enjoy. Shopping insurance is also not something most people enjoy. But really, we're seeing a lot of companies are raising their premiums with just going to the website, call or text. It takes literally 2 minutes, and you're going to find out very quickly if you can save $200-$300 a month. I mean, that's a big swing.
It is a big swing. Adam, I really do appreciate you so much for carving out time for us. Again, thank you for being on the Thrive Time Show. Folks, we'll put the website link there. We'll put the phone number in the description. Thank you, sir. I really do appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Clay. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985. I established my practice here in Tulsa in 1985.
One of the things that I hear in my world a lot as a business consultant from business owners is they will tell me, Clay, I want you to help me, but my industry is different. And so on today's show, I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client who's a pediatric dentist. And I also am going to introduce you to a wonderful client who's a real estate agent. And I'm also going to introduce you to a wonderful client who does mortgages, and a wonderful client who's a family doctor, and a wonderful client who trains dogs, and a wonderful client who runs the UPS stores for all of Canada. Then I'll introduce you to a wonderful client who has a massive real estate empire, real estate franchise empire. Then I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client that sells new homes. Then I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client who sells insurance, and then a wonderful client who runs a church, and a wonderful client who the wonderful client who sells insurance. I think I mentioned that. A wonderful client that has a research lab. And at the end of the day, you'll discover that if you will follow the proven systems that I will teach you at our in-person workshops or through our one-on-one coaching program, it's like bumper bowling for business. It's like if you're tired of throwing gutter balls and you want to have success, this system will absolutely change your life. It's a step-by-step system. It's a linear workflow. It's going to absolutely change your life. And without any further ado, here is Dr. Morrow sharing about how this system has changed his life and his business's life and the lives of his employees and the growth of his pediatric dentistry. So here we go.
Hello, my name is Charles Colaw with Colaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kolaw. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D. Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Hey, Clay Clark and my Thrive peeps. It's Steve Currington, as you can tell. Although I'm not wearing my signature green shirt as usual, but I am riding in my signature green Lamborghini. And I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of Thrive and all the guys at Thrive Time and the show and everything that you guys have done. At Total Ending Concepts, we have had tremendous growth and a lot of things changing, especially on the marketing front. And from a coaching perspective and from a web presence and branding, and our internet leads are up. Everything is hammering on all cylinders, and really we're just trying to figure out how we can leverage the systems and the processes that we're learning at Thrive more in our business. So now we're setting up a lead tracking system that has been long overdue, and we're doing lots of stuff. But I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to Thrive and Clay Clark and Dr. Z and everybody for all the help in helping us grow our business and hopefully buy more Lamborghinis like this the more we sell. So appreciate it, guys. See ya.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
Bird, they said it couldn't be done. They said you couldn't fill up the BOK Center. They said it wasn't possible. But yet if you look, it appears to be full. Oh, we're making America boom again.
Very full.
Very full. Lots of marketing, courtesy of John Kelly and Devin and Darlin and this mind and this hat. So there it is, FD Oilers, sold out, baby.
My name is Taylor Hall. I'm the general manager of the Tulsa Oilers professional hockey team. You know, our goal every night here at the BOK Center is to try to fill the seats with lots of people and create an exciting environment so when somebody comes to a game, they want to come back. working with Clay and the staff at Thrive, they've really helped us in many, many ways. Website and graphic design and video production and a lot of things that go along. And a lot of businesses, including ours, doesn't have a staff or a full-time videographer or graphic designer. But the biggest thing that we noticed was the needle mover. More sales, more attendance, more successes in business. We had a record year last season working with Clay for the first time. Our average attendance is higher than it's ever been. So there was a lot of really cool things that we did, and they worked. That's the nice thing about working with Clay and the team over there. It's just not one person, you get the entire team. If you need video design and editing and production, they've got that. If you need graphic design, if you need some coaching, your salespeople and call scripts, PR, they offer all that. Clay was instrumental in helping guiding us and getting us on the right track so that we could really raise the bar and become ultra successful. So it's been an amazing experience for us.
My name is Nick Smith, and I'm an agency owner with Farmers Insurance. I grew up in a middle-class family all the way up until I was about 13, and then my dad lost his job, and then all of a sudden he was gone, and I was being raised by my mom by herself. She was probably making 20 grand a year. In order for me to have a car, I had to pay for the car. I had to pay for the gas. I had to do everything on my own. So the independent thinking had to come early, and if I wanted to do anything. A couple of years ago, man, I was stuck in a rut. I really honestly was, and I couldn't see it. Not because I was doing it wrong, it's because I didn't know any better. Rates were not good. Selling was difficult. Staffing was just unbelievably difficult to keep good staff in here. I was having a ton of turnover. And I was about ready to hang it up and sell out. I was just done. And that's about when I got introduced to the concept of the Wheel of Wealth and Thrive. Some of the specific things I've learned about running my business is systems and being organized. Before, I think I just kind of shot from the hip a lot of times. But man, since I started this whole journey, and I've developed systems for each of the employees, but not just the employees, but for the position. So the fear of wondering when I'm gone, wondering if things are being done, I don't have to worry quite as much. Business-wise, finally got over the hump and we're actually growing again, whereas before we were just declining. And now we're back up and we're back over what we were a couple of years ago now. The training is ongoing, even to from where I'm at now. I still feel like I need to get further. The training itself is just, it'll rock your world. It really will change the way you think and look at business. So all those things just kind of culminated into this big, successful business that I feel like I have now. All that stuff has just been life-altering.
Clay's awesome. He's very entertaining, very energized, does some quirky, unique ways to sort of get engagement with the audience. So really pleased to have Clay do our keynote today. Well, I think it was being willing to take some risks on stage, taking some risks relative to how to set the audience up. I think that kind of created this sort of what's going to happen next. And so just that risk-taking sort of created a unique tension that I think ultimately resulted in a great experience. Well, I think Clay would be an awesome presenter for a number of groups. One, I think the material that he delivers is spot on, but he also can deliver some additional products and services to the organization, even beyond just the things that he does on stage.
My name is David Drucker. I'm the president for UPS Stores Canada, also a member of the AFA board in an honorary position, so kind of a crossover with both sides. I thought it was great. I thought Clay did a wonderful job. I think anytime you're able to get a diverse group together to start finding the commonalities, you're starting to pull the threads together that are going to make something for the future. And I think that was the objective for today, and I think Clay was really able to pull that out. I thought Clay was really good at shifting speeds. He was fast when he needed to be fast, detailed when he needed to be detailed, was able to read the room every so often if we started drifting off too far to the left or too far to the right. He was right there to rudder us back on course. So, I mean, really, I don't think we could have chosen a better guy for the day to lead us.
My impression of Clay was his energy, and just like the energy that he had on stage, and how passionate he is about his message. And I really felt like I could connect with that because it was very genuine and believable and sincere. And I really appreciate the sincerity of it all. So the lesson nugget is in fact the action nugget. It's like you can think of things all day long, you can read books all day long, you can do whatever you're going to do as far as business planning, but if you don't implement and actually take action, then it doesn't mean anything. It is all about taking the steps and standing up and going forward and engaging in an action activity. Well, what was so different about this is the sense of humor. They're really great sense of humor, very lively, very engaging and interesting. And a lot of presentations, you just kind of sit there and go, oh no. But this was fun. This was fun and interesting and engaging.
Oh, I love Clay. It's very funny. You never know, right? With a keynote speaker, you don't know, so you got to kind of open up. He's got a good sense of humor. I like the video at the beginning. It started out perfect. I'm like, oh great, another speaker that's been to 1 million corporations. I liked it. I like it was really well done. Like the guy's good.
Clay's fantastic. I mean, the guy is hilarious, captivating, kept the room moving. I mean, I love the fact that he got everybody up and moving. The fact that you could get John Tanney up dancing in his seat like that is worth the price of admission right there. Awesome. It just reinvigorates you. You hear somebody talk about how, you put it in systems into your business, how you got to seize the day. I mean, all that stuff is stuff deep down you should be doing, but those reminders help, and it's the right time if you're open to it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Because I'm a product of the 90s, I liked his, Notorious B.I.G. rap a little bit, but I get it, man. He's exactly right. I got a ton of buddies that are sitting around playing PlayStation every day, and they're not studying success, and I think that's the thing. Because to me, the one thing I really take away from that conversation is poverty is our baseline. Everybody knows poverty. You don't need to teach poverty. You need to teach success. And the fact that he said that was like music playing. I think he just is, just really gets our industry. You get a lot of realtors that try and be motivational speakers, but he truly is a motivational speaker. He's a businessman. He's obviously been around the block and, done a lot of things. And I think all of those applications, because real estate at the end of the day is the business of business.
I love Clay. I've known Clay just socially, but I've never heard him speak before. And I was probably most taken by the fact that he was just common in so many ways and made fun of himself, but also brought that aspect of these are my lessons, and these are lessons from some very influential people who all recognize. So probably what I took away from it the most was the Net Promoter Score and the fact that your wow factor from what you provide to your clients really creates that score. And you really have to go the extra mile to bring people to that level of impression. I appreciated Clay's story about his father and the picture with the kids, with the girls. I thought that was very meaningful. And takes the whole thing, the rest of his message and stories and things that he's sharing, and really puts them in perspective for people who are listening. You could tell he enjoys what he does and believes in what he's presenting, and that's a connection with an audience that is more important than the name or even what's being presented. It's real, it's transparent, and it's genuine.
My name is Josh Wilson. I'm the owner of Living Water Irrigation. So I've been working with Thrive since December of 2017. So the biggest changes we've seen as a company is, first of all, just systematically how we do things, how we present things. Our Google presence is phenomenal. Our website's 1,000,000 times better. And just the overall accountability and the process by which we're conducting ourselves. So our biggest win since working with Thrive is we literally, March was a record month for us. It was almost twice as much as our biggest month prior to that. In the last week or so, we've closed about $250,000 worth of business. We still have to go dig a bunch of ditches and get it done, but we signed about $250,000 worth of business with the relationships we built, the things that they've implemented through Victoria and Clay and everybody here at Thrive. So I would recommend Thrive to other business owners simply because they can point out where you're flawed and what you need to work on. You just have to be real and honest with yourself on what you need to improve upon. So that would be first and foremost. And the huge reason why I would do it, because it works. It actually, everything that they said when we came in for our initial meeting to today, absolutely positively has been accomplished.
Just how does an irrigation and sprinkler repair company increase in sales by over 450% in just 1 year? When according to Forbes, 9 out of 10 startups fail and 8 out of 10 existing businesses fail. How can one company grow by 450% in 1 year? Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it is now time for yet another edition of
Wins of the Week!
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working.
You can do it! We are joined by none other than my brother from another mother, Mr. Josh, the founder of Living Water Irrigation. Mr. Josh, welcome onto the show, my friend. How are you?
I am awesome, Clay. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm excited for the listeners to get to know more about you. Could you share the name of your company, a little bit more about what you guys do at Living Water Irrigation, where the name comes from?
Absolutely, positively. So Living Water Irrigation, the most important part of that to me is John 7:38. So it's mentioned in the gospel a number of times where the living water, but our specific scripture that we drew our name from is John 7:38. It says, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow through him. We have a very distinct vision as a company on who we are and what we want to do. And I believe that I was put here to go make some money to give it away.
And I'm not going to ask you for the specific details of your career and how you started the business as far as a linear timeline, but how long has this particular business been around?
We've been around just 2 years, sir.
2 years. And you guys, we first met. How did we first meet?
I came in and y'all started coaching me over at the Thrive 15.
And do you remember when that was approximately and how you first heard about us?
So it would have been October or November of 17.
October or November of 17.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of your growth as a company, how much have you grown this year?
So this year we're up 450% year over year.
So now that you're implementing this program, you're getting more calls, right? Are you getting more calls?
Absolutely.
Sales are going up. You're gathering reviews from your real customers, adding content to the website, adding a gallery of work.
So I'm going to actually take a minute and make you really uncomfortable, Clay.
Nice.
So when we started with y'all, it was awesome. We had a little company, just me and one dude and one little van.
Yeah.
And 17 was great. I ate more than ramen noodles, but not much more.
Right.
18 was really good. We started to implement the systems, got the boom book, went to a couple conferences, and said, okay, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to sell out. We went to the coaching, got coached by Marshall and Victoria, and started to implement, as opposed to just listen, to actually be doers. It's in James. It says don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers as well. And so we implemented scripts. We implemented systems. We implemented checklists. We implemented a pro forma for quoting and all these things that you talk about.
Yeah.
And so just as a real person, and I'm real, I promise you, there's a bunch of Josh Wilsons out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a famous baseball player and football player.
Oh, wow.
And a gospel singer.
Oh, wow.
But this Josh Wilson just digs ditches for a living. But I just want to say thank you. Standing here for all the systems, I encourage everybody out there, go pick up Start Here. Go pick up the boom book. The stuff you hear on this show, it actually sincerely works. It's not just some nonsensical guy sitting in an awesome man cave who's bored so he wants to record a show. And then from there, here's another super duper move for you. Schedule your day.
Oh, wait a second. That right there is a hot tip.
Holy cow.
Schedule your day?
So I was listening just a few months ago, and I was running all over the Tulsa metro area, from Glenpool to Owasso to Broken Arrow, back to Owasso, to Jinx, to Midtown. And I'm like, man, why am I getting nothing done?
Why am I getting nothing done?
Well, your issue is that you're running these places. You got to drive.
Why am I talking using a megaphone? Back to you.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't have this belly if I was running, Jonathan.
Okay.
So my wife says to me, hey, how was your day, honey? Oh, I worked all day. I did all these things. And I'm like, wait, I have nothing to show that I did anything. So super move number one, you've said it 17,000 times.
Yeah.
Whatever gets scheduled gets done. So now my day is scheduled.
Come on now.
So if it's not on my schedule, nope, doesn't happen.
Listen here. Here's a little secret. You can become successful. you have the tools needed to start and grow a successful company. But you've got to implement the best practice systems. You have to implement the proven systems, checklists, and processes that have been shown to work time and time again. And it is very hard for me to help you implement those systems if we don't get a chance to know you. So if you're out there today and you're saying, I feel stuck, I don't know what to do, I would encourage you to go to thrivetimeshow.com today and watch over 1,000. We have over 1,000 video testimonials from real people just like Josh. Watch those videos and build your faith. Believe that you can actually do this. And then do one of three things. One, you could schedule a one-on-one consultation with me by simply going to thrivetimeshow.com and scheduling that free 13-point assessment. Now, our team is going to vet you, make sure you're not psychologically impaired or your dream is not delusional. Now, move number 2. You could book your attendance at our in-person Thrive Time Show workshop. The tickets are normally $250, but if you want to attend the workshops because maybe you're in a spot right now where financially you're kind of strapped, just subscribe to the Thrive Time Show podcast and leave us an objective review. And after you leave us an objective review, take a screenshot of the review and email it to info@thrivetimeshow.com, and we'll give you tickets for just $37. Or maybe the Thrive Time Show Business School is the right move for you. Maybe it is. Listen, it's only $19 a month. And when you subscribe to the Thrive Time Show Business School, here's what you get. You get access to a massive amount of videos. We have over 3,000 training videos taught by the world's business leaders. You can watch those videos. That alone has tremendous value. Also, you get to attend one in-person workshop per year. Now, if you think about it, if you go to, Harvard, the average graduate debt sits at around $101,000. If you go to Oral Roberts University, let's say you go to Tulsa University, you're going to spend $35,855 per year. If you go to the Harvard Business School, you're going to spend $66,000 per year. If you go to the Wharton Business School, you're going to spend $64,828 per year. If you subscribe to the Thrive Time Show Business School, it's month to month, and it's as little as $19 a month. Check it out today by going to thrivetimeshow.com. And now, without any further ado, we like to end each and every show and win of the week with a boom, because boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And now, without any further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom! The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.